Welcome back to Resistance to the Threshold. This is session 2. I don't know why my thing says it's 1, but it's 2. And the session is entitled Receiving Dignitaries. Last session, the group prepared after receiving an honored messenger from Urmarag Monastery. They are going to, and everybody's in the wrong space too. I'm having a great day today. Anywho, they
I believe in you.
received a messenger from the Urmarag Monastery. That individual told them that the abbess of the monastery is heading that way, and they need to prepare to receive. It is. I am now in the wrong spot, and everyone else is also good. Okay, great. That said, after discussing that matter for a bit, they went about their business, are telling people in the town, people of interest to them, regarding this upcoming party, which will be happening in 3 days. And they have ended up, due to strange goings on, outside of the door of a house behind the mayor's office. The house in question, after a quick study, belongs to an elvish citizen, a person of kind of older repute, someone who does not exactly deal with the town very often, kind of a recluse. The individual in question was last seen, according to what you can kind of get from just records, was last seen in an official capacity, meeting with the guild master for the vintners, which would be you, Kevin, in a official capacity. You think you remember this individual, but it might have been your father who did it, because it does seem like it was about the same time you were kind of taking over the reins. That being said, this individual is got a name, of course. And this is the wrong notes. Great. Sorry, bear with me here. Having a great time so far. We're doing great. The individual in question is Merrick Bjorkan. And he is an elvish citizen of the town, again, who does not have much of an official capacity, but apparently, according to the records you were able to pull, Shijo, or rather, Dahame, this individual has been in the town since Urmarag took over, so quite a while. Any questions regarding that? Anybody?
So,
Sorry, I was writing the notes
so
down.
explain how this was the guy that owned the house.
Yeah, the guy who owns this house.
Okay.
And this would be the house where a ghost was apparently seen by the child.
Mhm.
Right.
Kevin and Zach are in the wrong spots. You are correct.
um,
Oh shoot! It always puts my last name up there. I don't know why. Like I have to change it each time.
oh, that's weird.
Oh well, everybody knows who I am now. All of our millions of watchers, listeners.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this is doing this. Bam, 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 bam. Everybody's in the right spot. Okay, great.
Yeah, that's good shit. I'd suggest we not ask him if there's a ghost in his house, but
Well, once you arrive at the house, this is the point of interest, the door is actually ajar. It's not wide open, but there's a good solid, like, 8-inch opening, and it looks like the door handle and the locking mechanism have been breached.
Oh, like it was
like by
broken into?
force. Yeah.
Well, that's not good.
This does not look like the work of a ghost.
If I'll step forward first, grasping my great sword, and just turn to the rest and say, "Now, now you all stay back." Draw out my sword, just rest it on my shoulder, and just slowly push the door open and say, "Now who's in here?"
You get no response. I will slide us to a battle map, for lack of a better term. And you should be kind of outside the door now. And the first thing that you see kind of pushing the door open is that there looks like there's a bunch of just mess all over the ground. There's a workbench or work table, kind of slotted against the wall. It doesn't look like it belongs there. You can see clear track marks across the ground, as if it were pushed from somewhere else. And it looks like a lot of other things have been kind of thrown out onto a staircase that winds up to the second level of the house. It looks like there's just a bunch of shit in the way. It's traversable. It definitely would be kind of a hard climb, to be sure, but it looks like someone intentionally grabbed things from this level and kind of moved them to block off this way upwards. The smell inside of that room when you first kind of like step inside is kind of an acrid, like an almost burned smell. Like it definitely smells like a fire pit. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I missed it. Did you say this house been occupied in the
Yeah.
past?
So, according to what you understand from Dahabe's records, Merrick Bjorkan has lived in this house since Urmarag kind of came down and started establishing itself. He's an elvish dignitary, according to, well, not dignitary, an elvish citizen of the town, of some standing, just because he's been here for a long time. But yeah, very strange that he's kind of not present.
Mm.
What'd you say his name was one more time?
Uh,
I'm sorry.
Merrick Bjorkan.
Thank you.
and it's in the Discord.
Yay.
Thank you.
Hey, that's exactly how the professor at work spells his name.
Great.
Well,
Great.
I step through the threshold and I just call, "Bjorkan, are you in here?"
No reply. Still is the grave. Yeah, kind of wandering in. If you do, again, that smell is very kind of present. And you can see it looks like there's a very large like working wrench on the work table. It looks like a lot of weight has just been added to this table for some reason. There is a lockbox up top, and it looks like the locking mechanism has been broken off. Possibly the tool on the table was utilized to do that based on the scrap metal of the lock kind of laying on the floor not too far from it. But yeah, it looks like anything that, a lot of things that had weight were kind of put in the stairs, and some like shards and broken bits of wood were also tossed there as some sort of makeshift barricade blocking access upwards, or at least slowing access down.
Mm.
Does not look like something you would need to do to protect against a ghost. There's something else afoot here.
Now, Miss Summer, what'd this kid say? How'd he say he saw this ghost?
I didn't see it, but the did we say what his name is? Evangeline's brother?
I don't know, Magpie, did we say what the kid's name was?
I just had Evangeline's brother.
If you're saying
You're
something, you're
muted.
muted.
His name is Guy.
Guy?
Guy.
Okay. Guy saw it before he fell. At least that's what we were told.
Hmm.
Are you gonna move in and try and find where Merrick is?
I make my way like past this
Yeah. Looking into the
Doorway.
center of the room, it looks like the floor space has been kind of broken up a bit. It looks like a bunch of wood has been kind of stashed in the middle of the broken up floor. And it looks like a lot of the wood was being used as kindling to create some sort of fire. It almost looks like a campfire pit. You can see a teapot kind of sitting near the broken rubble. A bit confusing. Looking inside, it looks like there's a makeshift like sleeping arrangement, a bunch of hay and a bedroll in the corner with a exceptional looking rifle set next to it. Kind of looking around the corner, it looks like this is some sort of makeshift living space that has been kind of formulated here. Looks like there might have been one or two people present here in this lower floor. You can see that the kitchen has been kind of utilized based on the number of eyes kind of growing out of the potatoes and the kind of wilted nature of the carrots. You'd presume that they probably haven't been gone, or that they're still here and they just don't mind, their vegetables getting a little old.
Be careful, princess. There might be vagrants in here.
She just kind of sniffs.
I'm gonna step forward. Is like all the burnt stuff that's all cool right now. It's not
Yeah.
like a fresh fire. Okay. Has anybody seen or Bjorken around town?
That accent kills me.
I love it.
You endorsed this.
I'm 100% behind it.
He's not someone who would attend.
Bit of a
Okay.
recluse.
Yeah. He doesn't really come to the temple ever. He really keeps to his own, you know?
What else do I know about Bjorkan from
That's pretty
knowing
much it.
stuff?
Yeah.
Wait, does he have a job?
Maybe he's upstairs.
Hey, John, would that
Can I climb over this?
would that
pile?
smell be something that I would
Sorry.
think might be arcane related?
No, it's a fire
Or-
pit. It smells
It's
like
just
a
fire
campfire.
smell. Okay, I was just
Yeah.
wondering.
Basically, whoever was here used the wood of the table, dining chair, all their furniture as kindling for a fire. Based on the kind of smoke-stained ceiling above you, they didn't really much concern themselves with, whoever was
Fire
upstairs
safety.
Fire safety.
or whoever was upstairs.
No OSHA paladins here.
Maybe someone who is strong can move some of this
Well,
stuff.
you'd ask a question. You can definitely climb
Yeah.
up it. It will be difficult, and it will not be quiet. It's definitely going to be a process.
Mhm.
But while you're considering that, it looked like you were to double make sure here, Chris, your character was kind of focused on the fire pit, paying attention
Yeah,
to the age of it, kind of focused on that. Go ahead and make a survival roll. Elizabeth, you can go ahead and make a perception check to see if you can see if there's a better way of climbing up that way.
Mhm.
Kevin, you had said you were kind of checking to see if it was arcane, but obviously not. But is there anything that you want to check besides that, like that might be kind of important?
Yeah, I mean, I could do an investigation check, kind of just.
What are
see
you
if there's
searching
anything-
specifically? It's just I don't like.
yeah.
Real quick, I just want to make sure I hammer this in. I'm going to say it every time it comes up. If you say I want to make a skill roll, I'm going to say no. So what I need you to do moving forward is say, I want to search this specific thing, or I want to do this specific action, and then I will tell you what to roll. I know
Excellent.
I sound grumpy when I say that. I just want to make sure it's hammered home, so we're not like, I think a dice roll will solve all of my problems. I don't want that to ever be the case of it.
Otherwise, it's like playing a point and click game where all you
Yeah.
do is like
You just
go
hover the
through
mouse
the
over the
screen
Role-play
and
thing.
game.
click every little spot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I would like to investigate then to see how long ago I think somebody was in this area.
Okay, so you're just kind of searching just broadly. Okay, go ahead and make an
Yeah.
investigation roll. That's fine. Dahave, you're kind
Roll
of
that.
looking around too. Is there anything in particular inside of the room that you're looking at that you're interested in checking out?
I see a statue. Is that there?
Yeah. Do you want to go check it out?
Yeah, is there anything particular
Go
about it?
make a history roll while you go over there. And then, last but not least, matriarch. Where are you headed inside of the space?
I feel like she would probably be doing something similar to see kind of like how old are the smells in here. Just like, is there any fresh scent, anything that was recently touched? Like, she would kind of want to see like points of interest if she
So-
could determine that.
What I'll say here is you can either provide Morax advantage on his survival roll, or
Yes.
you personally can make a survival roll. It's your choice.
No, I think it would be advantage
Okay.
because yeah.
Perfect. And awesome. So Dahave, we're gonna kind of start backwards. You look at the statue; it's definitely Elvish in origin. Looks like it's very fine artistry here. That's kind of on display. Looks like it's been broken in half, and it looks like there are chip marks throughout. It looks like it's just very heavy marble.
That was a 9, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I'm giving
Okay.
you Elvish, and it's made out of
Okay.
marble
Okay.
and nothing else. Then we have Kevin. As you're kind of investigating broadly, the one thing that catches your eye that's not like a subject matter that might be kind of noticed, there are some pamphlets on the ground near the kind of comfy chair in the corner behind Dahave there. And as you kind of reach down and look at them, you realize that they seem to be pamphlets that are in regards to guild meetings, guild association, and they look like they're all like things that are brought out of the mayor's office. Looks like they've been collected here, and they're just all kind of placed here. Some of them are kind of in stacks. There's a bookshelf on the wall that's just old books that probably belong to the original owner, and it looks like they've kind of filled in between the books a bunch of these pamphlets.
Interesting. Is our mayor with us, or is
Oh.
he not with us right now?
But you can ring him.
We can ring him. Oh, that's right. I would
Calling
ring the mayor,
stones.
and
All right.
I would say, shoot, I can't even remember the mayor's name right now. It's a new game. Sorry. It is
For
Casey.
future reference, you all would know that they are perfectly fine with you all referring to them as the mayor. Like Casey is also for like close friends, but the mayor is perfectly fine.
Okay, but I'm
They-
sure I would ring him and say, Casey.
They yell back as if they're not near their sending stone. Is that you, Mikael?
Yes, it is. We're investigating a building over here.
Nope, can't hear you. Hold on. Okay, sorry. He's like closer, or they're closer to the sending stone now. They're sorry about that. I'm sorry. It's very busy drawing up plans for the visitors and everything.
Oh yes.
Y'all just kind of left me here to deal with it all myself.
Yeah. Do you mind coming over to this? The house is basically behind his house, right?
Yeah.
Behind the mayor's, and he lives
And
in that.
So
house.
we understand, we haven't actually developed a street/numerical kind of street label or building labeling system yet. That's something you can do if you want. I'm not going to put too much effort into it because I've got way more important things to do. But assume that there is one. And so if you just want to like politely reference it as he's at street number, and
Right.
like in the brackets, like that's fine. I'm okay with that kind of shorthand because your characters will know how to get there from where you're at.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. So I would do that. I would
Alright.
say we're at street number. It shouldn't be too far from where you are. Maybe you could drop by. I have some pamphlets I want you to look at. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about it.
Hear a long silence from the other end, and they let out a heavy sigh. So you want me to leave the only person who's planning right now and help you with this?
Well, I've done some planning if that's what you're saying. So I wouldn't worry.
Oh, I suppose I could set aside some time. I'll let you know if I find anything.
All right. In the meantime, Summer, with that perception check, you're not really sure that it's a good idea to kind of climb up here. Like, kind of your brain kind of settles into the, oh, I might twist my ankle, or what if I fall? And there's like all of this stuff. But what you do realize is that directly above you, there's kind of a sill, like a kind of small little line layer, and you're pretty good at climbing, but you can't reach that high. If you were able to get someone who were taller, possibly a Morax or probably a Morax, you might be able to be hefted up to that sill, shimmy your way across, and kind of get up into the second level. But you would be by yourself at that point
Right.
to deal with whatever is up there. And you're pretty sure there's a possibility of a ghost.
Ghost.
Ghost. And with the survival check, so what you notice is that the ash that's kind of present here looks like the people who were kind of keeping this camp were not terribly concerned with maintaining it. So this seems to have been kind of a position of convenience, not so much a position of like they were planning on keeping it for a long duration. From what you can tell, it does look like they were here for at least a month, if not longer. But it does look like they've been gone for about 3 days, maybe 4. That answer your questions on everything, Chris?
There's
Okay.
like the stuff in the fire. It's just random, broken up chairs, tables, nothing like
Yeah.
a half burned whatever.
Your presumption is that there was probably a dining room in this other room that's present here, and they just took it, like all of the wood and all of the furniture and all of the shelves, and just threw it into the fire pit. What you actually come to realize is the bed, the makeshift bed they have kind of set up behind the statue, is just a bookshelf that's been cleared of its shelves, and they've kind of like filled it with linens. There's actually a tablecloth in there. It's a sheet.
Interesting.
Any other questions regarding the space before Casey arrives?
Would we know what that rifle is?
If you go investigate it, you would. Everyone would be familiar with firearms. The Jernaran region is kind of cutting edge of technology, and yeah, a rifle is not too terribly foreign a concept for you. It does look like a very ornate long rifle. It doesn't look like it's loaded, just a passing casual look, and it doesn't look like there's any ammunition near it. But it does look like it's very neat, ornate, and elvish.
Interesting. I guess I would go take a look at it then.
Fair.
Anything interesting about this weapon here?
Yeah, so there's a massive blade kind of settled on the bed. It looks like it's seen some work. It definitely looks like it's been utilized as a wood cutting implement. And from what you can tell, it does look like it was kind of thrown or discarded in kind of haste based on like the state of the things around it. And as you kind of look at the weapon, you see that there is a bloody handprint on the the wrap of the handle.
Can I get law enforcement over here? I think there's like blood on that thing. Hello, law enforcement?
Yeah.
Over there, there's blood on that sword.
Oh dear Lord.
Yeah, looking at it, there is a blood red handprint kind of gripping the kind of white leather around the handle of this massive blade of a weapon. Moirax, you're kind of familiar with military weaponry. The weapon you're looking at here appears to be a like colossal sized falchion, like a two-handed kind of massive broad blade. You're pretty sure this is of Denisatvan origin, which the Denisatvans are the force from the lands of Scoria to the west that invaded the barony. Their weaponry is pretty common in recent decades or recent years due to their presence in the center of the barony. It doesn't look like the stain is fresh. It definitely looks like it's been kind of left there for a while. If you want to make a medicine check, you can try to
Okay.
determine how long it's been there.
Oh,
I have jack of all trades. Can I make it also?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
7.
yeah, that's fine. It's as
and
it
roll
was.
today.
It's as it was.
I was like, I think this might be blood on this.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like beet soup or something.
I think it's blood.
Summer, you're not talking.
Oh, sorry. I have a question about the pile.
Which the
And
on the
it's a
stairs?
different- Yeah, I have a different question about the pile.
Shoot.
Does, and you briefly covered it, but I just want to clarify too. Does it look like it's blocking something from coming down the stairs or up the stairs?
Coming down.
Ah, see, that's the important
Ah.
question that I wanted to ask.
Roll.
Rubro Raggy.
Would you go up for a Scooby snack?
We should probably still
I might.
try and see what's upstairs though, but it's really tall and I don't want to hurt myself.
It's far too dangerous for the matriarch to go up there.
There's also the process, and this may sound insane, and just hear me out, but you could slowly move the items and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had already asked that.
Oh,
So
sorry.
maybe if we have
That's
someone
true.
strong to
right, sorry.
move this stuff. And
Summer,
then you're like,
and-
you can just climb over it.
Summer, you and I may not agree on everything,
Hmm.
but someone strong definitely needs to take care of that.
Let me
Couldn't
take.
be me.
I'll just sort of like I walk up to Summer, just like tap her on the shoulder, just like, all right, let me get to it.
Oh, look, it's a big, strong man.
Yeah.
Okay. You take some time clearing the space here, and it definitely looks like a lot of the heavier stuff is kind of on the bottom. Looks like there are some very large bags of food. The food in question looks like it's kind of like root vegetables and stuff. Some of the bags have slash marks on them, so as you try to move them, they kind of just place all of their material out as you pick them up and they rip open. It looks like they were using it to kind of defend themselves, but they were also cutting them open and using the food inside. But you spend a good 30 minutes moving stuff to kind of get a nice space cleared. And even though it still looks like there's a bunch of stuff on the path there, it's now just difficult terrain instead of being kind of an impassable or need to climb situation. At about that time, I assume within that kind of space of the pulling down the barricade, Casey, you arrive at the front door. It's open, and inside you can see Morax kind of moving stuff.
I say, someone called for assistance.
Oh, you got here. Yeah, you just missed it.
The ghost.
No, the need for assistance right here, at least.
Oh no, you're still doing it.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
still okay. I'm still working.
Yes, Casey, come on over here. I wanted to show you. There's a bunch of flyers or pamphlets from the mayor's office. I wanted to know, like, what this tells you. Let's write it down in this area. Like, we're trying to investigate this area and find out what was going on.
Of course, yes.
Somebody appears to have made a fire in the middle of this room, and they had some weapons, and they were maybe they had barricaded the stairs. So
Yeah, so as you're kind of shown these flyers, it looks like they're flyers from like the last couple, maybe 6 months or so, that your office has sent out to workers to kind of ensure that they would arrive at meetings. Now, this is from your point of view, and you're really kind of setting the stage here. With these kind of notices that would be sent out from your office, would they be personalized, or would they just be kind of draft efforts sent to all of the different guilds and individuals in the guilds as a kind of quick reminder notice, or would they have names?
I imagine they started out being personalized, but because they've been using the same personalized draft for years now, like it's no longer, it's like the town's formal invitation to their like union meeting. It's all like, I'm sure they spend time like handwriting each one out and personalizing it, but it all looks the same to the townspeople. Like they could just print
Well,
it.
the
you
main
know?
thing to say is like if you had sent a letter to a specific individual, like say you're sending hundreds
They
and
would
hundreds.
be personalized to the guild,
Okay.
not to the artisan.
Perfect.
Would that make like so
Yeah.
like each like group would get a personalized like seal stamp or something from their office, like delivering it to that unit, but not every artisan within that unit would get it because there's traveling artists, apprentices who are going to be invited. It's up to like the guild members to distribute the materials because
So these
it's-
are all to the same guild, the Cobblers Guild.
okay.
Shoes.
I share that.
You a cobbler?
No, he wasn't.
Do we know?
The elf is not a cobbler.
Sus.
Is he a keeper?
Oh, oh no.
The roof
maybe
falls in.
this, maybe this, yeah.
Make a dexterity save.
No saves.
Maybe the squatter is a cobbler. Or
Wait,
has
what
interest.
just happened? What happened to me?
You made the
Caved
joke to
in.
Keebler Elf, and I was like, the roof falls in.
The end.
The end. Session 2.
I guess I play
All
Gee
done.
now.
Osha Paladin, here I come.
Yes.
OSHA Paladin. We love it. But yeah, that's what you would know. The Cobblers Guild. So whoever was keeping these notices over the last 6 months, and there's quite a few of them because there are a lot of official meetings and stuff, but it seems that these letters have been taken by whoever was here or whoever was receiving them or possibly or acquiring them through other means. That's what they are. Just a bunch of those. And
Well, thank you, Casey.
Of
Got to
course.
the bottom of that.
Glad I could share.
Check out this elvish rifle over here. Pretty nifty. It's over here.
it does look like a piece of elvish artifice. It is an elf long rifle.
There's no conglomerate markings or any denotation on it, then I don't know anything.
No. So yeah, fun fact about the campaign setting: the first people to create gunpowder and firearms and the like were the elves. Although there is one very eccentric human in history who claims to have invented it and had his idea stolen by elves. But the truth of that matter is unclear. that said, elves are very particular in the design and craftsmanship of their firearms, and this long rifle appears to kind of been built to the highest speculations. Looking at it, the ornate kind of craftsmanship on the wood of the weapon and the barrel of the weapon, it's very ornate, very beautiful kind of burn chiseling into the wood to kind of create a very ornate elvish patterning, and then kind of inlaid with like small bits of silver. And then the barrel itself is kind of burned black on the outside and then kind of carved out symbols. It does look like there's a name on the barrel of the weapon, and it is Bjorkan.
Ah. Makes sense. Well, should we investigate the rest of the house?
Has Morax finished?
Have I?
At this point, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, just be careful not to step on anything and fall.
Okay.
Thank you. I think you've done a great job.
Who is leading the way?
Not I.
Fuck. I was gonna stay below and catch people in case they fell, but I suppose I should probably head on up first.
Oh, are we traveling upstairs? Of course. He's like shortly behind you, like
Charlie, to get your small size. Aww.
of course. Yeah, they're
Oh.
just like dumbly trotting up the stairs. They got not a
I will be
fear in the
squarely
world.
in the middle.
I'll follow behind.
Perfectly good. Perfectly good.
sticks right next to the matriarch.
Morax,
All right.
Puts Mikael in the back.
first
You
thing
want to put me in
that
the
there
back,
to
or do you
catch
want me to go
people.
ahead of you guys? Doesn't matter.
I think we got the dragon leading the way. I
Mhm.
Yeah.
say you cover the rear.
the first thing
Alright,
that
I
you
got the rear.
see upon making it up to the second floor is a hallway. Across from you, there is a door. The door's simplicity and styling is not too dissimilar from a door in your own house that would lead to the privy. The two doors on your right side appear to be doors that probably enter into like room spaces. The thing that kind of is off is in the center of this hallway is a large kind of pot, earthware pot, and sitting on top of it is a broom. There's no dust on the floor here whatsoever.
They did a good job sweeping.
Perfectly clean. Well, not even dust that would linger over just like a duration, just time. Like this place is completely immaculate.
Does like the pot look like particular? Do the pot or broom look particularly suspicious?
They look like they've been placed precisely, like someone very specifically put the broom set onto the pot so that it's kind of balanced neatly over the top of it. And as you kind of look into the pot, you can see that it's like a dustbin. It's like where someone would throw refuse and possibly like scoop dirt into.
This is all suspicious to me. I know nothing of these witchcraft things.
Cleaning.
Are you gonna slide us in there? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I want, and you'll deal with it.
Okay.
But Morax is the lead, so there isn't really much room to continue trying to pass him unless he allows you to pass him. You rush
Well.
forwards.
I'll just
I
like
imagine it's pretty hard for him to stop
Rush
the little
force?
gnome.
Rush forward.
Throws him into a
straight
wall.
underneath his legs, like doesn't
Yeah.
even notice. Just slides underneath.
well, if he gets to it first, then that's him. I was gonna just like take my sword and just like poke the broom or something.
Yeah, falls down.
Then I don't think
As it
anything of it
falls,
after
they
that.
jump up in the air like it was
Explosion.
gonna explode or something, just in case. Nah, seems safe.
You then watch as the broom slowly levitates back up onto the thing, as if it was picked up and then placed back onto the pot perfectly.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
curious.
I like to glance over at Summer and say, "You know what's up with that?"
No.
Could be that ghost they were speaking of. No.
Could be.
Is it the ghost of a maid?
Is there anything arcane about the broom and bucket?
These are doors.
It is just a regular, like, stone earthenware jar and a broom.
That's bullshit.
I'm gonna do it again. I take my sword, tip of it, and just like knock the broom off the pot.
This time, when
Morak,
he
giggle.
does,
you don't want to upset them.
Go ahead, Zach.
when he does that, Casey closes their eyes. Do they sense anything?
Are you
Blind
using?
sense 10 feet.
Nope.
Okay.
But you do watch as the thing picks up and moves and is placed back up onto the stoneware jar. For a moment, your sense feels like there is something there, but it's not detectable beyond, like, you're not really identifying a thing. And I can't say,
Okay.
Actually, Conglomerate Primer, go ahead and roll intelligence or arcana check, or religion check. You can make it untrained, it's fine. And when real quick note, when I say conglomerate primer, people who have been in the conglomerate or members of the conglomerate typically have received training and will have like these kind of baselines.
Right.
So your presumption on that is it's otherworldly. There's something supernatural happening here, which is why you're not able to identify what it is. So it's put back onto the earthware jar, just as it was before. And I need more tense music.
For a pot?
Yeah, it's tense.
Okay.
These are doors, right? 3 doors.
Yeah, like 3 doors. This one, according to just anybody who's
3
lived
doors
in this
down.
town, this one does appear to be like probably a door to a privy, just based on the way the door is designed. A shitter.
All right. Would we know by the orientation of the house which one would lead to like the back room? That no.
If you had to decide, the eastern side of the house is where the window was, so it would have to be the easternmost door. There's usually not windows in the bathroom.
Right.
Could be.
I said usually not, but
Yeah, usually. So
I'll,
we're
like-
just gonna knock on this door here.
okay. Nothing happened.
Merrick?
Oh, that's too creepy.
No.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh no.
I know what house that will be for.
Mm-mm.
Oh no.
Is it the whorehouse?
There is not gonna be freaky music in the whorehouse. The hard bar, jeez. How dare you, Magpie?
Oh my gosh.
After Summer knocks on the door, I'm gonna slowly reach my hand towards the doorknob and like look towards the others as like, shall I?
You're opening the which door? This here?
Yeah.
Or the door that Summer's at? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You open the door, and inside is an empty room.
Spooky.
Completely empty.
The horror.
Completely clean. Perfectly ornate room. In that it looks like it's a kind of lavish, hardwood floor. There's trim and kind of crown molding, just like the rest of this floor is kind of presented. Very nice. The window is open, but it does, have the simple kind of barred glass window that you'd expect in this kind of house in the area, and was present downstairs as well. But yeah, there's no furniture. There's no nothing. It's just completely empty. There are some track marks on the ground. The hardwood floor does have some scoring. It does look like things have been removed from this room. Um, but yeah, other than that, completely empty.
Hmm.
When you come around the corner on the wall that you just moved around there, Dahave, you'll note that there are 2 swords held up by mounts crossed on the wall there.
Is there anything special about them?
The swords look like they are of an elvish make. They are very kind of typical longsword. The way that I envision kind of elvish longswords being, I don't know if you're familiar with the Jian or like kind of a wushu broadsword. Are you familiar with that kind of sword? Have you seen the movie Crouching
familiar with
Tiger,
those
Hidden
swords.
Dragon?
Yeah.
The Green Destiny blade, like, is a Jian. It's like a straight blade, Chinese broadsword. The
Okay.
way I envision elvish longswords is very
I
much
googled
like
it.
a thin blade with kind of like a very, perfect kind of straightness to it, but also kind of a flexibility. It looks
Okay.
like one of those.
Are they like on a plaque kind of
No,
thing?
they're just
or
kind
are they
of
just on the wall?
mounted on the wall. It looks like you could grab the hilt and draw the blades from the mounts, but it's up to you if you want to.
Is there anything historically or arcanely significant about these swords?
No. Just elvish swords.
I found some swords in here. It's kind of strange that they got left behind.
Out of the way so people can come in.
These aren't bad swords.
They're not bad. They look like they're superior quality.
Looking around, whoever's tidying though, like, I would hire them.
Okay, but they literally threw everything down the stairs
And lit it on
Mm,
fire.
and then it.
I don't think they're related. But I could be wrong.
it's
This is
gotta-
really nice though. They need to teach my kids how to clean like this.
A quick note too, like, it doesn't look like any of the stuff that was downstairs was pushed down the stairs. Like, the
Yeah, it
stairs
was-
at a higher point are immaculate. It doesn't look like there's any breakage. Like, that stuff was pushed up the stairs.
Yeah. That's why I had asked, is it look like it's blocking someone
it.
from coming up the stairs or coming down the stairs? And the
Is-
answer was coming down the stairs.
Is this a window?
Ooh.
Yes,
Can we see anything fun or interesting?
the
out this
mayor's
window?
office.
Ooh, mayor, I can see your office from here.
Oh, would you look at that?
So, Morax, you're kind of looking at the swords. Do you take one off the wall?
Yeah, I'll just.
Okay. You grab a
I don't
hold
really
of
have
the
a
hilt
place
of the
to put it.
sword, and as you're pulling it, you watch as it and the other sword immediately fly outwards, spin around, and swipe inwards towards your neck.
Ah.
Oh fuck!
Nice.
And I'm the only one standing here, and I'm just like,
What?
Everybody, y'all hear me going, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
I need an adult.
Oh,
don't.
fuck.
Can I make a saving throw to like?
Oh, they're making their
duck or,
attacks
like-
with advantage. Hold on.
Oh, wonderful.
12 misses, but a 19 hits. You'll take 5 slashing damage. After they hit, they immediately kind of fly upwards and seem to kind of have positions ready to kind of point down, like, into you, or kind of slash at you. At this moment, sorry, this is falling into an initiative order. This is what is presumed to have happened is an initiative was rolled. It acted on a surprise round, and everyone's initiative fell off because everyone's surprised. Does anybody have a traitor condition that says you can't be surprised? Okay, great. Roll your initiatives.
Um,
I'm pretty sure you don't.
Initiatize.
I double checked.
That is not the one. -5. There we go.
So now into the first actual round of initiative, you're not surprised. You're very aware, Evangeline, what has happened and what's like transpiring. Two swords appear to have animated and are now basically engaging against Morax. Your pleasure. What would you like to do?
I'm not prepared for this. Da, da, da. Okay. I feel like you would want to like give him some sort of advantage, like cast bless.
Okay, so you can see out the door as well, and you can also see yourself. So do you want to bless Morax, yourself, and someone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mikhail.
Yellow will be blessed.
Yeah.
Wait.
You said Mikhail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
A word to the goddess, and you throw forward to prayer. You feel inspired by the blessing, and then you still have your movement and a bonus action if you'd like to take.
Oh, this is so weird playing someone that's not just like fight all the things. Ouch. She has a mace, but it's not drawn. So would that be an action?
No, it's incidental. You kind of draw it from the ring at your belt.
Okay. So I think she would draw that and
Not really
kind of
much.
move back
Yeah,
a little.
It could potentially attack you though, so keep that in mind. I'm just letting you know before you move. It's
Okay.
okay. Still moving. If that's the case, it's going
Yeah.
to. It is going to swing wildly at you. Click. Okay. 15 hit you.
No.
Okay. You kind of draw the mace, step back. You expect the blow, kind of bat it back, and kind of step back away. You can continue moving away as you like to.
I don't think she would move much further than that until someone else can get in here and make it a fair fight.
Do attacks of opportunity activate my defender's aura?
They would, yes.
Okay. So after you explain your thing, I can get a attack on this guy.
It's before it goes to my turn. Yeah, you're going to use your reaction now. So go ahead.
All right. That just where? Attack. There we go.
Yeah, that'll hit.
And damage.
Oh, you click on the word greatsword in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So she kind of like steps back, bats it with the mace, and kind of steps away. And as she does so, you kind of say, like in your mind, like Malish, draw the sword and swing it outwards. It hits the sword, and you can kind of hear this loud clang as it further backs away from the matriarch. As it kind of spins in the air and comes about, you can see that there's a very large kind of cleft in the metal. Like you kind of put a large bruise in the edge of the blade. Even still, though, it spins on its end and flies straight towards the matriarch. And as it is flying at her, the sword that was kind of left on the other side kind of flies back down straight towards your neck. So against Morax, miss, and against matriarch, miss. So you kind of like hit the blade, expecting it. You kind of turn the broad and kind of catch the sword, allowing it to kind of like scrape off of your blade. And you've still got your mace in the air, so you're just kind of batting it away. All right, Morax, your first turn there.
Okay, I'm gonna attack the one that is next to Evangeline.
That will miss.
Ah, man, I've got 2 attacks at this level, right?
Your 4th level, no.
Oh, I don't.
5th level's extra attack.
Darn.
All right. Anything
In
else?
that case, can I blah, 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 blah. Could I use a superiority die with a
Well,
precision attack?
depends on the attack. So precision attack is when you make the attack roll. You can expend it. So before or
You
after
also
making the
have
roll,
bless.
yeah, you can go ahead and roll in a.
Oh yeah, I get the D4.
Yeah.
Well,
Bless didn't
15.
help. So then precision attack can be used after making an attack roll, but before any effects are applied. So that's actually beneficial. So you'll want to go ahead and roll a superiority die. I believe at 4th level it'll be a D6. So go ahead and roll a D8. So roll a D8.
Oh my gosh.
14, 15, 16, 17. Exactly what you needed to hit.
Oh,
Go
nice.
ahead and roll damage.
Big money.
We got there. That's the thing. That's the thing that matters. So as you kind of like throw forward the sword, there's this doubting, like back when you were a young, thug, like you would basically understand when you were overpowered or like out of your element. And this feels like it's the case, but that you remember the blessing of Halloween, and then you remember the skill that you've developed over time, and you draw the blade like tight, kind of where a near miss now becomes a dead-on hit. You clash right at the pommel of the weapon, causing it to kind of snap the tang in the weapon, and the blade just kind of falls off to the side, the weapon now broken on the ground. All right. Any movement from you?
No.
Okay. Mojave, does seem like something's happening in there.
All right, I'm coming to check on my little. Oh my lord! Check on my friend, and I will cast Aid.
Okay.
At level 2. So I will cast it on the sheriff, the matriarch, and the Russian.
Okay. So
And
everybody
they go,
gets
oh no! And then move back.
an increase to your maximum hit points and your hit point current max or current total by 5. Cool. Just note that somewhere.
John,
Yeah.
ice got stuck in the wall.
Yeah, you shouldn't have moved in a weird square.
I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Uh-huh. And then, Summer, before your turn begins, you had knocked at the door, right?
Sorry, it should be my turn.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I skipped you. Go ahead. Why aren't you on the... Oh, you're not on
I
there.
don't know, man. I'm out of order. I'm 2 down.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Oh yeah, it didn't get ordered properly or something.
Sorry, I might have clicked it late.
You villain. Okay, so go ahead.
So they're gonna like grab their scarf and cloak, throw it off, and underneath they have like a gi on. And running forward.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. This is a great opportunity. So I didn't show images last week because they weren't drawn. So just so we understand, this is Casey.
Yes.
For those watching.
Yes.
So he throws off the cloak and scarf and
Yeah, they like grab the scarf and cloak and they throw it back off and keep the bowler hat though. The bowler hat is like firmly affixed onto their head.
I like
and
to
they
think
just
that
like charge.
I like to think that it wobbles around and their
Oh, yeah.
balance is what maintains it on the top of
Of
their
course. It
Okay.
stays firmly affixed through a lot of like chicken head bobbling.
Love
As
it.
they're like running, they're like running up a wall and it just like turns their heads so the bowler
Moving.
hat stays on.
Moving to defend Captain Elzar, who's now on screen.
Yep.
All right. Go ahead.
They should, and as they run, they flip out a baton.
Okay.
12.
Miss.
Okay. Monk.
Hit. What's the extra damage? Oh, striker, right?
Oh, that shouldn't be on there.
Oh, it's not on there.
Oh yeah, no, that one is. That one is.
Okay.
I don't get the other bonus because if
Right.
I hit him with the baton, then they take extra damage for each
Yeah.
enemy. That one's not. This one is just base D8 always
Right.
because I took the XP level up.
Yeah. The striker sign.
Yes.
But so you kind of rush in, baton juts out, swinging it. It kind of scrapes across the edge of the blade. You then spin about and jump into the air, kind of doing a roundhouse kick, smacking the blade back up into the wall. It kind of sticks in the drywall for a second and then snaps out, kind of like almost angrily. Summer, you had knocked on the door, right? You were the one who knocked on the door initially?
Yeah.
Okay. You see that the other door opens. And it looks like the person that's opening the
one?
door, yeah,
Or
the
the-
person that's opening the door looking out is you.
Ugh.
I need
That's
you
weird.
to make
Mimic, kill it with fire.
I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
No. 16.
You feel like for a second you are looking at yourself but
Mhm.
from a different angle, and you actually understand, being kind of associated with death and life due to your religion, that you are being possessed. But then you immediately kind of say, no, my body, and shunt it back. And then when you look at you opening the door, it's a spectral form of an elderly elf whose face just immediately goes completely horrifically white and just blurring angry. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. And
This
that will
asshole.
be, and that will be
No wonder.
it. Okay. That's a lot.
4.
Roll a d4.
Dang. Roll a d4? What?
Roll a
Low.
d4, yeah.
Okay. 4. Oh no.
Ouch.
I'm checking something here. Age. Art.
Probably 4 years.
Oh
Ouch.
no.
Oh yeah, you're not that bad. It's okay.
Not that bad.
You feel like the possession kind of blocks out, and it was kind of readying to do that, and then it immediately kind of entered its turn, which is in between you, or between Casey and you, and it then uses its horrifying visage on you directly. You fail it. You are frightened of the ghost, and you just aged 40 years.
40.
40. Ouch. Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
You're
Now
glad
I'm
that
like,
wasn't me.
what, 160?
Oh, you should be a lot older than that. Gnomes are, according to my
They
notes,
live up to 500.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
There's so many different. I just put like
Gnomes in this setting are kind of based
Okay.
on the 5th edition variant, which they reach adulthood at 40, and they can
Yeah.
live to 350, and like the highest they can get is 500. So I would say like you probably would have started in the 190 to 240 ballpark
Okay.
for
Because
venerable.
whenever I was looking at like the venerable
Mhm.
age for gnomes,
Yes.
people were saying that it was like 100, so I put myself at like 124. I think.
34. 134.
There's so
34.
many.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's so many different like old age.
Did write that down.
Starting at 100 is, I mean, that's kind of, I guess that's fine. Just be the age
I don't
that you
know.
are. It'd be the age that you are, but plus 40. Don't change your age.
Cool.
Just be 40 more.
Yeah. A couple more aches and pains won't
Yeah.
hurt her.
A wide amount of venerable. But now it is your turn, but you are frightened of the ghost. And let me display it.
What would your character say?
Probably scream.
Ghost?
Yeah. Just a scream. And then we're gonna back up because you said we're frightened.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're backing up over to Mikhail.
Sorry, hold on. Go ahead.
You deal with that.
And Summer kind of moves away. Do you do
Yeah.
any do you pull out your weapon at all, or do you just kind of just move towards the?
Yeah, I'd pull out my mace.
And just kind of hold it up in a defensive posture.
Yeah.
Do you want to take the dodge action as your action?
Yes.
Okay. Mikhail, She said, "You deal with that," pointing off in that direction.
Yeah, this is great. All right. Well, since I don't really know what it is, I'm suspecting it's a ghost, but I guess I'm going to charge into my old age. All right. So I'm going to
Okay.
charge
So,
over there.
hold
I'm
on,
gonna pull out- wait,
hold on.
okay.
I want to give you a bit of flavor context here because it's actually it's really good. Have you ever seen the movie Beetlejuice?
I have, but I forgot. I think I fell
Remember
asleep during
when
it.
Beetlejuice like does the like scream, but it doesn't show his face, and it's like horrific, kind of like tentacles
Oh,
off to the
yeah.
side. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever that was, just happened to Summer, and so as you're coming around the corner, it's like all going, and so you don't actually see the horrifying visage. You just see like the remnants of it, kind of like snapping back into the ghostly face. You see a spectral elf standing in front of a very beautiful and lavish-looking bedroom, and you kind of bring your weapon to bear.
Yep. I'm going to say as I was moving over there, I pulled out I have a combat knife.
Mhm.
And when I see her, I guess I'm going to probably try to do bludgeoning. I don't know if it would make a difference, but yeah, it's like hit with the
Okay.
iron
You kind of
knuckle
spin the
type
blade
thing.
so the blade is in an ice pick position, and then kind of bring it in for the brass knucks kind of
Right.
punch.
Hoping something good will happen here. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't I click on that? Oh, I know what I did. I hit the wrong thing. Sorry. Here we go. Does a 17 hit?
So you bring that weapon straight into it, and as the magic nature of the combat knife kind of connects with it, you watch as it kind of like feels like you're hitting something, where you're expecting, because you're looking through this thing, you were expecting to just kind of go right through it, but it kind of connects with some sort of force there. Go ahead and give me the damage.
Sweet.
No sneak attack.
So what was I going to say? Oh, I do have a bless, but I hit anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like 7. Do I get I guess I wouldn't get sneak attack, would I? Because I don't have anybody next to me, and I'm.
Nope. So
I'm
as you
not.
kind of rush forward and kind of boom, just give it a solid punch, you watch as the thing kind of shifts to the side. Its spectral form kind of like distorts from the hit, and then it kind of all snaps back together. When it snaps back together, you notice that there's like a large kind of almost like a bruise, but it seems like it's almost like, so the creature's kind of blue colored, and now there's this kind of weird purplish light to where you struck it. Okay. Anything else from you?
Then,
Bonus action?
yeah, I would say. I think I found the ghost, everybody. I need a little help.
Do you want to disengage with your bonus action and like flip away, or do you want
Yeah,
to?
actually, I forgot about that. Yeah. Since I'm a rogue, I guess I will disengage and maybe move back here.
Staying in front of Summer, but
Yeah.
not staying in toe to toe with a.
Yeah,
you don't
that
know.
thing's gonna get me.
All right. Evangeline, you see that it looks like the situation with the sword is under control, as Morax and Casey are keeping it pretty well cornered. But you could move in and attack it, or you can go out into the hallway and investigate that situation. Your call.
I'll move out into the hallway.
Okay.
All
Lead from the front. We love that kind of trait in our leader.
right. And would I have seen like where he was pointing generally?
Yeah, talking is a free action, so I assume as you're walking out, he would be kind of pointing in that direction with like, because he's holding the combat knife, he can kind of just pop one finger out of the ring and kind of point there.
Okay. All right. We go there. And then I can cast Sacred Flame, right?
Yeah, or if you'd like, oh, you're first level. Never mind. I was gonna say you could turn undead. You don't have channel divinity.
A baby.
Okay, yeah, Sacred Flame would be a good number.
We
And
love
dex
Sacred
saving throw
Flame.
from the ghost is a failure, so you take 2 damage. And I don't believe I augment radiant. Nope. Yeah, it does not seem to be particularly extra affected by radiant at all. It's just a solid kind of lance of energy that kind of cuts through its spectral form for a second, and the spectral form recoups just like it did with the combat knife.
And then I'm gonna move back.
It goes to the sword. So I'm attacking Moirax. Crit. So that'll do 15 damage.
Ooh.
It basically kind of gets knocked against the wall with a kick. And as it kind of angrily pulls itself away from the wall, it kind of swipes. But it doesn't actually seem, and you're smart enough to realize it's not swiping at you, it's kind of feinting. And so you drop down and kind of raise the greatsword. It then shifts and then slides across the greatsword and stabs you in the neck. And you can kind of feel like the wound, and you're like, son of a bitch. You're up. But in a more like Western sheriff sounding voice.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
By the way, I love how Zach has just started calling Morax the sheriff instead of captain now.
The sheriff, the mayor. We love this. The matriarch.
Titles.
The vintner.
The Russian.
The Russian.
Russian.
Well, no, it's see, but you're in Russia, so it's like weird. Like, could you imagine being like an actual Russian person in Russia, and your moniker, your nickname becomes the Russian? Like, how
But I mean, if
Russian
you're
do
the
you have to
minority-
Would
be?
be
Yeah,
iconic.
He's not just
You know that
any
one
Russian,
guy who
he's
always wore
the
American flag
Russian.
pants to every party?
You
Yes.
said that he's the minority in this party. That's true, but in the town as
Yeah.
a whole, it's mostly Jernarans.
Yeah,
Look,
but
okay,
our
it's
little
like when,
group-
yeah, like,
Louisa is very disappointed.
It's
When
like
you're in
going
a-
to a club in America and you're the only American in it, and it's like, oh, it's the American.
Or
Or
when you're
it's the
hanging
white
out-
boy.
I
yeah,
feel
you're
where
hanging
you're
out with
coming
all
from,
your
John.
brown
agree.
friends, and they call you the
I
gringo.
don't agree.
You know?
Yeah.
No,
I am the gringo.
Yeah, Magpie knows. Magpie can hang with the minorities.
Hell yeah.
I'm just saying that the Russian would not be because all never mind. Forget it. Can you
We-
smash
we
my
get
You
sword
it.
can't.
with a
You
Yeah.
can't
sword?
win this one, Jonathan.
Smash my sword with a sword. I need you to smash my sword with a sword.
I'm gonna smash the sword with a sword now.
I appreciate you. That's a really solid
Sword
hit.
fighting.
And
No, that
yeah,
one hits.
you after it kind of lances into you, you kind of bat it up and then spin around fully, bringing the sword up at the kind of cross guard. You hit it and kind of cleft the handle from the blade. Both kind of spin outwards. The blade strikes the floor near Casey, kind of stabbing into the ground, and then the handle kind of hits and then falls to the ground. But the weapons are broken. So they were superior grade weapons, but now they are broken quality weapons.
Okay.
Wait. Come on.
Then at that,
Movement?
I'll go. Yeah, I'm gonna. Can I move past everybody right here?
15, 20, 25. You could get to here or right adjacent to the ghost if you'd like.
Okay. Well, actually,
5,
Before I
10,
would move-
15, 20,
so there's
25.
10, 15, 20, 25.
And then you
Okay.
can move adjacent if you wanted to.
All right. Before I would have done that, I would have used as a bonus action. I would have used my second wind
Good call.
to heal 1d10. Yes. Oh hell yeah!
You kind of, as you're rushing, you kind of look down at your neck a little bit and kind of use like the blade to like kind of check it. And you realize it's just like a scratch and you kind of suck it up. Rush around the corner. Do you want to step up one or do you want to hold back there?
Yeah. You know what? Sure, I'll step up one. I don't know what's going on in there. I haven't heard their
Yeah, you
conversations.
see the elf ghost. Looks like it has a couple of purple marks on it, almost bruise-like. And then, yeah, it's
Oh,
transparent.
what the fuck is that?
It's probably your first time seeing a ghost. Dahave?
Dahabe very gracefully twirls through the matriarch's space, and then she kind of squats a little bit, turns towards the stairs, puts her hands on her knees, and does a little,
No.
and
No.
her butt kind of taps the Russian a little bit, and he feels flooded by the
No.
spirit of heroism as she
Did you
keeps
just drop it?
keeps keeps the rhythm going with her finger symbols. She also gives a bardic inspiration to Michael. Mikal. You got that, Kevin?
Yeah, awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Heroism
Bardic
plus
inspiration. Wait, what is your bardic inspiration?
Let me pop it up.
Is it like a D8? That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
You get a D8.
All right.
For attack
Very
roll, saving
cool.
throw, or ability check.
Might be. It'll be a D6.
Oh,
Oh,
D6.
yours I'm
yours is a
still at 4.
D6. Okay.
And you
Cool.
also gain 3 temp hit points, and you are immune to being frightened.
Oh, that's nice.
All right. Casey.
Thank you.
You're
Um,
welcome.
I don't think they would stop from going in and trying to hit it either.
Okay.
Yeah, they're running in.
I would say, just for flavor's sake, like, you kind of know that the jar is there. So as you're kind of rushing, you kind of jump up to a height that you know would be higher than it, grab a hold of the door frame, and just flying around it, kind of snapping into the next room, probably like with a kick towards the target that you know is on the other side.
For sure.
Go ahead with your baton.
Attack.
That'll hit. This is non-magical, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And go ahead and give me damage on the unarmed. And you're not magical yet on those, right?
Not yet.
Okay, so you can definitely understand, and again, conglomerate primer, you kind of have a general sense of how certain things magically work. This is a ghost, and it's resistant to non-magical damage.
Yeah. Doing the best I can.
Yeah. Summer, you are up. You are still frightened, and will be for another 9 or 8 turns after this. Frightened means that you cannot willingly move closer to the target. You can still act, but if you try to attack the target, or rather make an attack while the target is in sight, it will have disadvantage.
Right. I can't see it, but
Yeah, if you can't see it, you can act as normal, except for the part that you can't move closer to it.
right.
And you know where it is, so you can't move closer to that door, is what I would say.
Yeah. I wanted to. I can't get to him.
Did you cast heroism on Summer, Jito?
No. I
Oh.
put it on. I'm just like, did I fuck it up?
To answer
Put
your
it on the
question,
wrong person.
it would
No.
get rid of fright.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Learning,
It's okay.
new character.
Yeah.
I've got to get finger symbols now.
With the twerking. uh, I don't have anything that I can do.
Oh, sorry. I
I'll make a good berry, or I'll make some good berries. That's all I got.
just to make sure, Dahabe, the bard in the back, with the back. Is that fair to say? Yeah.
With the back.
I mean,
Baby got back.
you're the one who said she did what she did. Okay.
I know. I know.
she keeps
You
using
gotta-
it like
No
that.
take
It's
back.
You
only-
gotta
I
stay
think it's only
delicate.
fair
You
game.
gotta be delicate with it.
Fair. I was about to say something hilarious, but probably not appropriate, so we'll just leave that. in my head.
Indelicate.
It was definitely an indelicate thing I was going to say. Anywho, so Summer done?
Yeah, I'm just making some good berries.
Mikhail, you are up, and it does seem that the group is kind of filled into the spaces that are available, but when you popped in and kind of fought it, you did see that there was like a desk on the side, and you're pretty sure you could jump and gain a perch on that if you wanted to move in and attack the creature as well.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay.
Why not? You only live once, right?
With like a kind of almost like dancer-like flourish, you watch as Mikhail kind of rushes in and gracefully kind of leaps up onto the table, kind of spinning down with the combat knife, attacking with slashing, piercing, or bludgeoning this time.
I'm gonna do slashing.
Okay. Kind of dragging
Why
it
not?
down in the ice pick position and like pulling to the side very suddenly. Hit, and you have sneak attack damage on this one, so check that.
Nice. Thank you for the sneak attack.
Everybody.
People that's in the room. See if I can wait. Actually, let me click this first. All right, that's the regular damage.
Oh, well,
7
no.
regular.
Hold on. So real
You
quick,
can
there-
check mark it.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
a check mark option on there. If you click the check mark,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
yeah.
When you roll the damage, it'll add that to the roll.
yeah. So go ahead and
Okay.
click the damage again. It's fine. All right. No, click the damage again
Oh shit! I see.
in the
I'm screwing this up.
chat.
Learning. All right.
It's okay. So we're gonna
All
go
right.
with the
The-
7 that you rolled at the
yeah.
top, and we're gonna go with the 8
Yeah.
that you rolled there. So what you end up watching happen is Mikhail kind of rushes in, kind of standing up tall, kind of spins backwards, bringing the combat knife, catching the thing on the neck, and dragging the blade across the room. This kind of sudden motion creates this very bright blue blur for a second, and as the Autognome and Dragonborn kind of watch this move happen, in slow motion almost, you watch as the head severs from the body of the ghost, and both kind of fade away from each other, kind of dissipating in the air. And there's this kind of sound on the ground as you watch as a bit of this strange goo kind of like covers the floor. And where the head was kind of going, you can see kind of like a wettish stain on the wall from where the head kind of hit the wall. But it didn't fly and suddenly burst. It kind of just slowly and kind of like strangely kind of just splash, like a soft splash on the ground and the wall.
Delicious.
The ghost is destroyed.
It was not the ghostess with the mostest.
No, it
As
was
you
not.
kind of look around the area in the few beats immediately after the conflict, Mikhail standing up on the desk, I'm going to ask you what you do in this immediate aftermath. And since you're up on the desk, I'll ask you first. Kevin, what does Mikhail do immediately after the fight?
Well, I would probably
Get off the desk.
investigate. Well, I'm thinking since I'm on the desk, I'm just gonna I'll jump off it then investigate it. Like jump here and then investigate the desk.
Okay.
Probably.
So what you're seeing on the desk is very strange. It is what appears to be a gold-bound tome, very large book, and it looks like it's probably about 4 feet like tall and about book width, or about 1.5 feet wide, and it looks like it's sealed. Like it looks like there are a number of mechanisms on the side of the book that are kind of binding it shut. You can see that the paper on the interior has kind of like a gold siding to it, gold leafed siding, but you really can't make out any kind of writing on the side that you're looking at. And if you move to kind of pick up the book, it weighs a good 30 pounds of what is mostly just a metal cover.
Wow, that is heavy.
Yeah, it's not light.
No.
Sorry.
Is it safe to go in there yet?
Yes.
Did all of you
Oh,
kill what?
Sorry, I was.
Wait, who said that?
It's me.
Huh?
I me as the DM was saying I was gonna do beat for beat one person, but your role.
Oh, my bad.
I'm sorry. No, continue. My bad. You go.
Is it safe to go in there yet? Did y'all kill whatever was in there?
I don't see any more. No.
I think we took care of him.
Don't step on my scarf. They turn around and go back out into the hallway. They threw their clothes down.
Morax.
Go to throw the cloak on.
Focusing in on you and moving the ghost off the board. Immediately in the aftermath, and as kind of Dahave is kind of entering into the space, and it looks like Mikhail's kind of examining this strange thing on the desk. I mean, you can see the room as you can see it. Is there anything in particular that you're focused on? It looks like the bed is unmade. It looks like someone got out of bed at some point. You're pretty sure elves wouldn't have much of a need for a bed.
Yeah. Is this a mirror right here?
It is not. It is a painting, actually.
Of what?
You go and you look at it, and it looks like an elven man, very similar to the feature-wise to the ghost you just fought. And as you're kind of looking at this artistic rendition of the individual, you also realize that it's not too dissimilar from the statue downstairs. And looking at this individual, you can see that they have been painted in kind of a like almost regal flourish. It looks like they are wearing furs of like a snow leopard that appear to be kind of connected to a rich red velvet cape. And they have in one hand what appears to be a scepter with a symbol that is familiar to you as a group. You would know it as the symbol of the dreaming. It is a crescent moon with a heart symbol in it. And then you would also see that his other hand appears to be holding a dagger.
What is significant about his attire?
It just looks like it's very much, but in the painting at least, it looks like it's very much kind of outside what you would expect a guy living in a small bedroom house in a backwater town like Gatney.
So, like, nobility or royalty? Like, what is it
Regal
giving me?
royalty.
Like king?
Like it's very
Like high
tier.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does this painting look like Marek Bjorken?
It looks like the ghost you just combated, and it looks like the statue downstairs. You again are thinking about it, and you don't think you ever met this elf. You don't know everybody who lives in town, obviously. I mean, for sure. You probably know some people, but like again, the people who are not coming out or doing anything or working and not having much of a social life like this person, you probably wouldn't know. So yeah, it looks like the ghost, and it looks like the statue.
This guy look familiar to you guys too? To y'all too?
And he would. Magpie, you definitely see that Morax is kind of focused in on the painting. Mikhail's focused in on the book. Dahabe's kind of wandering in. And I will get to you, Shisho, I promise. But what would you like to be doing in the immediate aftermath of the conflict?
I guess you would kind of look at the painting as well.
Okay.
Since, like, I mean, he asked if he looked familiar, so she would check it out.
Yeah, he's someone you've seen in town, but it was probably when you were much younger. Like, you don't remember them being important. At least not this painting level important.
Yeah.
Jijo.
How about this book? What can I recognize about it?
It is a book that is closed with no title or anything on it. It is definitely very bound. It looks like there's 3 locks, and it looks like they are conjoined locks, meaning that if one is kind of falsely unpicked or poorly unpicked, the other ones will kind of lock in kind or relock. Mikhail would possibly be able to try and open it, but what you would know is spellcraft. It seems to have been designed to kind of block certain spellcraft, like the spell knock. Knock would not be able to work on this specific lock because it's a tripartite lock.
Is there anything I
Three
can...
knock spells work?
3 knock spells cast at the exact same time, yes, by 3 different casters.
Just clarifying.
Is there any other, like, anything else about it that's arcane?
No, not arcane at all. That you can tell. I mean, are you casting any spells to try and discern anything?
I've identify.
Yeah, it's not.
Is that gonna do anything?
It's not going to help. The book's not open.
Yeah.
Identify is presumed that.
Oh, yeah.
do a
Bess
lot.
was giving it to Miko, letting him try and open it.
I may be able to pick it, but I'm wondering if we should search for a key in the house, especially in this room, like really like extensively before we put the effort into trying to pick it, because I'm worried that it may lock it for good.
There are some drawers present at the desk you're at, Mikhail, if you want to kind of go through those real quick.
Yeah, I'll definitely check those.
Go ahead
'Cause,
and
yeah,
give
like
me
I said,
an investigation roll, and I assume Dahabe, since you're kind of taking an interest in the book, you're helping. Is that right?
Hell yes.
Okay, so
Same.
before you roll, either one of you can be the primary, and then any one of you can be the helper. So
Well, actually,
mine's a +4 to the roll. What's
Can I
yours?
also guidance?
I'll have a +5, and then
Oh,
I'll
well, then
also
you do it. I'll help you. Give you advantage.
Okay, well, I'll also use. Can I give myself a bardic
no,
inspiration?
you would have in that case you'd have to go
Oh.
Mikhail.
I have your bardic inspiration, so yeah, maybe I should roll.
So then
'cause I
yeah,
could
and
use
then
that.
Summer stepping in and casting guidance. So we're getting a bunch of
Guidance.
bonuses to the rolls here. So Mikhail, you're rolling an
Yeah.
investigation check. Dahabe, you're helping, and Mikhail, you have a bardic inspiration die.
Move
and
over, an old lady's coming through.
you have a D4 extra to the roll because you're being
Rude.
guided by Summer. Who
Yeah, I didn't
assume,
see that in
I
character.
assume is very much
That
kind of
would
like
be nice.
micromanaging from behind. Yeah, no, that one, check there. But you gotta do
Yeah.
that.
Okay, good thing I
Exactly.
did,
you have
did I
advantage.
have advantage?
Yeah.
Okay, I had
So
advantage.
we got the
and then I
16 to
get
start.
a
D4.
D6 and a D4 or D4.
Well, D4
maybe.
D4 is just going to be added regardless. It's
Okay, yeah. D4
Okay.
only a 1.
Now,
but then I'll
you have
roll
to
my
decide.
inspiration,
Okay,
yeah.
you are using the bardic
Yeah, I
inspiration.
definitely want to do that. Yeah, there we go.
Cool.
Get it up higher.
20 was the
21.
DC.
21.
Great. So as you are searching through the area, you're looking in through the stuff. There are 3 drawers. The first drawer looks like it has just mundane paperwork, but when you kind of stop and then look at it again, the top piece of parchment at the top says "My Last Will and Testament," and then it seems to have been signed and letterized and notarized as well. Notarized is another thing. You then look to the other 2 drawers on the other side, and as you're kind of moving to kind of open that drawer, Dahabe kind of like leans in and says, no, hold on, and stops you. And the both of you kind of take a second to look at this strange thing that Dahabe notices. And Mikhail, you kind of have like this rewind to back when you were a young buck, and you notice that there's a fire glyph trap on this drawer, and you realize opening this drawer would be a bad idea because it would definitely cause the whole desk to ignite.
Yes, then I would say, Dabe, you are correct. That is a glyph. I have seen those before. I almost missed it. Thank you.
And the last drawer, the third drawer, it opens up and it's empty completely. And in searching it, it doesn't seem like there's anything special about it.
And I did find a will in this top one. We should probably take a look at that.
And other miscellaneous paperwork.
Yeah, and other miscellaneous paperwork. But does anybody know how to get rid of a magical glyph? I think you have to dispel that, don't you? I'm asking out of character.
Dispel magic would be kind of an easy way to do it. You can't attempt to disarm the trap with thieves' tools. It would be an intelligence-based thieves' tools check. And
Okay,
unless someone has training in thieves' tools, they would not be able to aid you in this check.
Okay.
But they could guide you, and if you want to use a third bardic inspiration, if you have it, you could utilize that again.
Right. So is that what you guys want me to do then? Because we don't have any dispel magic.
What about my ability in Arcana? Could that guide him as well? Okay. So you've got a bardic inspo die.
Arcana is more about knowing about it, not about knowing how it.
Yeah, I know about it. I've seen that somewhere.
Just not know.
Yeah, knowing is
I don't know
half the
anything
battle.
about. I don't really know what to do about it though.
All right, guys, I'll just go ahead and do this. What the heck? I will get to set your mind at ease before I roll this one. I do have expertise in thieves' tools, so theoretically, I should roll good. Well, we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
I'll guide you.
That was all right. Let's see. What do I click right here?
So thieves' tools, then it'll say query intelligence.
Okay, good. Not horrible.
12.
Yeah, but then I'm gonna roll guidance because I get that automatically.
Yeah.
Are you
Another
still?
one.
No.
Are you still? Are you still inspired or no?
Yeah, I think I got re-inspired.
So then roll a D6.
I'll roll a D6 and then
Hi.
I gotta roll high. Yeah, on this it's gonna have to be real good. 6. There we
Yeah.
go. That helps.
So
19.
as you're kind of like, you caught the trap, and then you kind of like once it was mentioned, you're kind of trying to think about what it is. Like sweat starts to kind of pool on your brow, and then you start to realize, oh, it's a fire trap. Man, it's been a really long time since I've dealt with one of these, and I had help. And you're thinking about it, and they're like, well, you can do it. And Summer's like, yeah, you should do it.
You got this.
And you're like, okay. And you start pulling out the tools. You get the magnifying glass. You start working at the runes very carefully, knowing kind of like where they need to kind of be chiseled out to cause the glyph to fizzle. And after a moment, there's like this tense. You're like, all right, this should be the last one. And you kind of, and you hear and you go, oh, and then and you watch the glyph turn to just ash and fall to the ground. Opening up the drawer in kind, you see that there are 3 keys settled in a kind of small little pillow area. The pillow in question looks like it's kind of covered with this kind of grayish dust. And then directly above that, kind of into the back of the drawer, there is just a stack of papers.
Interesting. I guess what I would do is I have it open. I would look at everybody and say, it's safe to grab it, or
Seems safe.
I'd have
You would
my
you would know best, I feel like.
Oh,
You're closer.
geez. All right, so
I'll let you.
I don't really want to do another check.
I'll make it safe for you. I'll just make you understand what's happening here. The pillow with the weird dust.
Yeah.
It was an ignition source, so that if it fire trapped, it would have melted the keys. So just so you understand. And then as you're looking at the papers, they would have gone up regardless. So as you're kind of pulling everything out, you pull the keys off the pillows, kind of give them a quick, like one of these to kind of shake off the dust, but set the 3 keys on the table. When you pull out the papers, they're written in kind of a very ornate Elvish, and it seems that they have dual writing. So this is typically done in kind of translatory texts or kind of transference texts when you're trying to ship something to someone else. And what you very quickly realize, Mikhail, or actually no, probably not, Dahabe, is that the documents in question seem to be notices of transference of parcels of land. And from what you can tell, there's about 5 of them. And it seems that whoever this individual was purchasing lands from the farmers outside and holding these portions of land outside, so that they owned a decent amount of the town on its exterior. 5 whole farms.
Wow, interesting.
Although, to be fair, I don't have Elvish somehow.
I do have Elvish.
The other language would have been Jernaran, so.
Okay.
Okay. I do have Elvish and Jannar, and being a thief, I got a lot of rogue. I have a lot of languages, but who should hang on to these? I guess like who would normally hang on to the deeds and stuff in this town? Who would that be?
The Lord Keeper.
It could be okay. So then I would definitely make sure Dabe had them. And as far as the keys are concerned, who wants to do the honors of opening this book?
You worked so hard on it.
Do we think that it's safe to open a book like this? Just someone went to great pains to make sure that it was sealed.
Should we maybe take the book outside and open it there?
In front of the townsfolk?
Nah, that doesn't sound like a good idea.
We could go to the tower.
Well, outside this building.
Oh, possibly, yes.
Yeah, but the townsfolk.
Let's
We can
take
put
it
it
to
in
the
a
tower.
bag.
I like that
We'll
idea.
take it over to the tower.
Or actually just
It'll
saying,
open.
not here. He's not saying outside in the exterior. He's saying just not here.
Yeah, just not here. Well, we could take it to the tower. That to me seems like a good idea anyways, just in case something does happen. We don't want it to happen in this house. Also, I want to grab those other the last will and testament and look that over, because I think that might be important.
Yeah, so from what you can see, it states that it references the deeds inside of the shelf, actually specifically. And it also references a deed that's in the stack that it was on top of, a deed to this house. It states that the parcels of land, and as you're kind of looking at them, you can see that in the kind of arrangements, they were purchased outright from. You're looking at it, and the name keeps on coming back on all of these documents as being the same. The person that this elf purchased the land from is someone who you've never heard of. It's just so you know the name that's going to come up. It's not so I don't get the questions of, do I know who that is, kind of stuff. This person is completely and absolutely not a known quantity. And the individual's name is... Oh, my notes. Why is it always the
Harry.
wrong page?
Terry.
Very-
Fucking gay.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a
He's
little
He's
guy.
just
Just
a
a
little
little
guy.
guy.
He's just a little guy.
A little guy. People who are new to the stream will never. It's fine. I don't care.
This is how they learn.
That's all they need to know. Is just a little
He's
guy.
just a little
Just a little
guy.
guy.
He
Little
hasn't
guy.
done anything
The littlest-
wrong in his life.
The littlest of
Wow.
guys.
The littlest of guys, yeah.
So, Ephraim Noldos, and I will post that in our Discord. And it definitely does sound like a Jernara name.
Yeah.
But it's not a known element. But that's the person that these land parcels were purchased from. In the will, it says that it's leaving them to, and it cites on the parcels like who is going to maintain the land. And it seems that this person, in the course of his death, was leaving the parcels of land to the farmers who were working it.
Okay.
But did it
So let me
them legally?
wait. Let me make sure I have it clear.
Yeah.
So the land was purchased by Merrick Bearcan
Can. Yep.
Mhm.
from Ephraim Noldos,
Yep.
and then Bearcan is leaving the land to the farmers.
Upon his death, correct.
Okay.
The
So
farmers who
this
are
is like
working those lands.
assuming previously it was like tenant farmers.
Yeah, so he was basically holding the land, and they were working the land.
Okay.
And upon his death, he's leaving the land to the people who were working it.
But we don't know if he's dead or alive.
Based
That
on
was
the
his ghost.
fact that
I
he
thought
was
that was his
We don't
ghost.
know if it was actually him. We don't have a body.
It's true.
Do,
Is it
Did
behind
he-
this door?
It's in the
I
show.
mean-
Did he die on the toilet?
Elvis?
Like Elvis?
To be fair, Evangeline and Dahabe never saw the ghost, right?
I saw it
Okay, you did see it.
briefly and
Okay.
was like, pew, and then left.
I punched it.
You
Yeah.
are so brave. You got my vote for next time.
Fantastic.
Do you pop open this book?
Do you want to pop it open in?
I want to pop it
Database?
open where my golems can not
Yeah.
golems. What are
Okay,
they?
cool.
That seems like a plan.
So you
I mean, just in
Sounds
case there's a demon in there or something. I don't
is there
know.
Can we
anything else
open-
inside of? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just to double check on all of the things.
Yeah, you check on the toilet. It's a toilet.
There's nothing there. Okay, great. All right. Another
That's a
thing.
turlet.
I
Turtle.
can. This is the door, or this is the window.
Yep.
Okay.
Wait, we should go to the bathroom before we leave. You never know when you're gonna hit another bathroom.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
old. My
No.
bladder is very weak now.
I'm 55, so that's like I have prostate issues.
I will say the only
Ah,
magic,
yes.
the only magic item
Ladders.
in this space is the water, the water bucket in the bathroom. The only magic item that you kind of notice, and it does appear that that is like an ever full bucket of water. You would know that the city, or sorry, the town does have decent enough plumbing. And it seems that he just pours the bucket in to kind of cause the flow to head into the plumbing source, the sewer system.
Nice.
If I push the broom down, does it reset?
No.
No, the ghost was so clean.
Aw. I was gonna take the broom.
We also like look around in this bed, like take the covers off, look under it to see if there's blood or
Okay.
something.
Yeah, if you pull back the duvet and kind of look at the blankets, what you'll notice is that the pillows are only on one side of the bed. But it looks like whoever got out of the bed was on the side without pillows. Now, you would know that elves don't sleep like humans, so they would have no need of a bed.
But they are comfy.
They are comfy. They also are great for, other
Other
activities.
things.
You can see on the bedside there is a small kind of like lantern, or just kind of like a lamp, really, like a gas lamp. It's not on or anything. And the other bedside table is empty. There's nothing on it or in it. Beautiful looking rug. At the foot of the bed, there's kind of like a chest. If you kind of open it up, there's linens inside, like a change of linens. And from what you can tell, it, very clean, very, well kept space here.
Nothing corpsey.
Nothing corpsey. Yeah, if you pull back the duvet, I mean, you'll see that the sheets are a little dirty. If you'd like, you can make an investigation roll or a medicine roll, your choice. Again,
Do you want to?
determining what might have kind of been might have happened here.
You said medicine or investigation? That'll be a 15.
Okay. So it definitely looks like these sheets were left after someone had slept in them. And it looks like that someone had copulated it.
Oh, they was fucking. Okay.
There's a certain kind of staining that I
Less
hate
of a
to say.
color and more of a texture.
Oh no, I touched the stain.
Well, real quick note.
Oh.
It doesn't seem like it's one-sided in that regard. I want to make sure you understand. Like, there are ejaculations on both sides of a male-female copulation. I just want to make sure you understand the dirtiness of the bed. It's
yes.
not okay. It's
What?
not
Disgusting.
It's disgusting, but it's not. It's not like it's not like raw or anything. It's dried and it's just,
Yeah,
it's a
but
bit crusty is all. It's
Nobody
the whole
wants
thing.
to touch crusty like juice.
I've had let me tell you, I've had
Ugh.
to clean so many costumes that are disgusting from those areas, and you do not want to touch that shit. It looks disgusting.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. I'm just-
What?
I'm not making a judgment call.
You're not a
on-
connoisseur. A
I've-
coom connoisseur.
I am not.
I have a story for off stream about costumes.
I am leaving
Oh,
the room.
I feel like
It's time to
every
go.
actor, every person who works in theater has a story about costumes, and every
fair.
single one of them are
I
disgusting.
have several, to be
Right.
fair.
Stephanie,
One
I just
came
wanted
to
to make
mind.
sure, like, so apparently Stephanie's watching. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't think like he was. I wanted to make sure you understood that there was another person present. That's what I was trying.
They
Yeah, you
both
could have
had a
just
good
said that,
time.
John.
Fucking hell. Okay.
They both
fine.
had a
So
great
It
time.
looks like there was a second person here, and based on the fact that there were pillows there for them to sleep in,
It
possibly
wasn't
not.
just
I know.
Was it
one elf.
a lady
you know.
of the evening?
Magpie. Oh
I'm
my
not-
god.
I am not telling you who it
I'm
was.
tired.
Okay.
But it
so,
could
Got the
be.
30-pound book. I'm assuming Morax is carrying that, right?
I'll carry that.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
hefty boy. And then is there anything else in the house, downstairs or up, that you want to remove from the space? The
can,
papers?
Myself.
can we make someone carry that? Well, if not one of the guys, I mean, not one of the guys, somebody. I would like to keep that rug. That's a cute rug. Can I have that rug?
Yeah.
We
Well,
don't
okay.
know if he's
Dad.
dead.
We're pretty
I
sure
don't
he's dead.
care. I want that rug.
The
I'll give it back if
last
he's
will and
alive.
testament says that everything in the house
Yeah.
goes to.
Oh,
sorry.
to the farmers.
The
No,
farmers.
hold on.
No, I think that was just
No.
those land went to the farmers.
The
Everything
na-
else
the
goes
na-
to the magnate, I think.
The name is the
Oh,
only
the
thing.
magnate.
The name is the only thing that you have, and according to the name on the last will and testament regarding the house, it goes to an individual named Imistroth Noldos.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna steal. So
Oh
fine.
my gosh, how would I ever spell that name? That's
Never.
a tough one.
It's
I
a
would
great
never
name.
get that right.
It is a
It's
great
hard
name.
to
Yeah.
spell.
Yeah.
I'm glad I found my notes and didn't make up something that I would have overridden awesome stuff. Anything from downstairs you want to take as evidence or for any purposes?
I'm gonna grab the bloody cleaver.
Mhm.
It's like
Uh,
pick it up with some cloth, wrap it in something, and
Take it.
take
Are
it
there
with me.
any human remains in here that we can find?
We didn't see any.
No.
I am gonna take one of the Cobblers Guild flyers.
Okay. Do you want to search for any human remains in any specific spaces? Is there anything you're interested in, like looking at?
I
Are there
mean,
any
did
human
they burn the
remains in
body? Like,
here?
is there teeth in here?
Can I pretend to be a cadaver dog?
So you do have keen smelling. I will let you make just a general perception check, but you are not a cadaver dog.
Nor are you technically a dog.
Right.
You're kennel born. It's very
I
different.
know. Perception.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So you're definitely not
Yeah,
a cadaver
Did
dog.
is Keen not give advantage?
For this purpose, I'm not granting it.
Oh,
I would suggest that the captain or sheriff, whatever you want to call him,
So-
would take the probably should take the elf gun too, because we want to leave that in an abandoned house. I mean, if nothing else, you could give
It's
it to
evidence.
the person. It's evidence, but also you could give it to the person who gets the house because maybe that went with it, or you could just keep it. I don't know, but we probably shouldn't just leave it here.
Well,
Seems dangerous.
someone's clearly been here.
Any other
Motions to the
Yeah.
carrots.
Any other spaces or anything that is present that you can see on the map that you would like to investigate before exiting out of the space?
The little, like, sleeping nook.
Yep.
Is there any evidence of who was in there?
Looks like hay, looks like a bed roll, looks like a pillow. Not really
No.
much evidence beyond that.
Seamen.
I mean, if that's what we're looking
So-
for.
Over here.
Let's just say that the
Right.
chair over here, there's a sock kind of hanging out on the arm of the chair. If you were to set it on the bedside table, it would stand on its own. You want to make it weird? I can make it weird.
I think
There
There were no
uh,
magazines in here at all.
Elizabeth was pointing at this thing, whatever this is.
So that would be the
The
workbench that was pushed. It seems to have come out of probably, if you had to venture a guess, the other side of this wall.
Yeah.
And it looks like it was pushed over there to kind of be used as a buffer
Mhm.
on the blockade.
And
Are
then
these all
And you said that there
potatoes?
was a lockbox
It
on the
looks
top
like a
of
boot.
it that had been opened.
Hmm?
You said that there had been a lockbox on the top of it.
Yeah,
had
that
been
was opened. Yeah. It's empty.
Completely
Is-
empty.
is this a statue?
That's
like-
the statue that's broken in half.
I couldn't.
Was
Yeah,
that
I couldn't
the- yeah.
identify it.
Of the
Okay.
guy.
Anything in these cabinets?
It's Mary.
Yeah, opening them up inside, there's fine silver, and there's also like silver plates. There's a beautiful earthenware like serving platter that looks like it's in pristine condition. It looks like they didn't touch any of the things inside. They probably weren't terribly concerned. You do see that there are a number of bottles up above that appear to be of the vintners of the area. There are also a couple of the bottles of the Urmarag draft from their cellar up on the mountain, but all of the bottles are empty. In fact, you'll find that some of the bottles are present inside of the mess at the steps.
And then is this a boot?
Yeah, sure.
It's not
What
a
is
potato.
that?
I think
don't
it's
know.
supposed to be a potato.
It's not terribly
Okay.
important. And everything on the map is not
Um,
exactly as is, but
Just for flavor, I
that
want
sock
them in
for
the
sure is
statue.
there, though. You don't have the whole of the statue, so that's not an
Oh,
option.
it's only half of it?
Yeah, it looks like parts of it are gone.
I
Yeah.
thought you said it was broken into.
I said it was broken. I didn't say that the bottom half was there.
Oh.
So there's like
I
a
want this.
a topless statue somewhere.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, that's sad. I was gonna fix it.
Marble is a semi-precious stone. It's probably not too uncommon that they might have taken the part that
But
was
it's supposed to look like Merrick.
Merrick's feet. It would probably been harder to sell his face.
Wow.
That's weird.
Wait, so it's what?
You have the torso up,
Yeah,
so the legs are gone.
right.
What I'm saying is if they took the legs, they probably didn't take the face because it's probably going to be a lot harder to identify
I see
feet
what you're saying now.
than a face.
Oh, I thought you meant his face was ugly.
No, I didn't say that.
I thought you
Oh.
were implying there was some sort of
No.
preference for feet.
Yeah. You know what? All the merchants be loving marble feet. Oh my god.
Oh my
That-
god.
Literally top tier selling product.
I warned you all.
Why is this becoming so
God.
horny? I'm sorry. I tried to mention in a means that wasn't so direct that there were two people in the bed, and now it's like, oh, everything's sexual.
Thought I was gonna be the problem tonight.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Okay, so we're taking the large book and we are moving on. Is that right? Does that sound good?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there any way we could lock the door from the outside, like put a lock on it or something,
It's broken.
so that only we could get in? Like,
Can we put a
as
guard
in
there?
The
The
guard
captain.
and yeah, the guard
I'm
could.
suggesting that since
mean-
somebody's living
Oh.
there.
Chris, do you
Put a
want
guard
to?
there.
Do you want to take an your choice? However you want to deal.
They're like a country hamlet
I'm just
version
gonna
of like
call over one of the
crime scene
men
tape.
and post them up outside. Be like, hey, this is a crime scene. Don't be going in there.
I wouldn't.
Okay, and the
It's a
guard.
small village. They gonna get nosy.
The guard
No, they just got a guard there. He'll be fine.
nods his
You
head.
put a guard there.
And you know, he says, "You got it, Captain or Sheriff."
Sharp.
And yeah, there's a guard
Sheriff.
standing outside. Then where do you head?
We said the tower, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Going to the tower.
is anybody breaking away at this point, or is everyone interested in what this has to hold in it?
Casey isn't particularly interested unless someone requests for them to stick around. They would head back to the hall.
And Morax, do you want to break away? Mikhail, Summer, anybody?
At this,
I
would
think
have probably-
Summer would.
I would probably leave it to the experts. I would
Yeah.
carry it over with them because I'm the one carrying it. But I would leave it there and say, call me if anything comes up that you need me for.
And then you'd probably head back and then more securely manage the house.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Cool. Sealing it as a crime scene is great. It wouldn't be too hard. Typical processing, especially since it's, sealed. You just board the windows and the doors, and then put a notice on it. Burn a seal into the wooden barricade that says, sealed by on order of the matriarch, and then it would be the symbol of Gate Neath, which is a gate to the mountain, and on top of the mountain is a Dating Cross. Cool. Back at the tower then. Mikhail, did you go to the tower as well?
Well, I guess I'll stick around for a little bit because if they are going to open it immediately and they need somebody like I know Elvish, although he probably has, Shijo probably has. I guess that would be.
Dabe.
Yeah, Dabe would probably have people who would be able to read Elvish. So maybe I'll just leave and tell them like if they need me, they can contact me. Otherwise, I probably should go back and like prepare for stuff, for the
Do work.
party. And I gotta find a dang date to take, and that was Dabe's doing right there. They were the ones that said you have to have a date. So I gotta find a date. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Absolutely. Cool.
They could send for me if they need me. Obviously.
You can always ask Rilka.
Yeah, they can if they need help.
Well, I'm just saying, as your date, you could always ask Rilka.
Who?
Miss Green Bottle.
Oh, true. I could. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good possibility.
I was about to make a really horrible and also sex-related joke. I mean, she could be your bottle for your wine.
Oh no.
So I have to put a cork in there, or would I take a cork out?
Well, I mean, it's a bit of both.
A bit
I
of
need
both.
an adult.
Oh
More
no,
than
it's
fair.
getting bad.
It's gonna get worse. So we get
Andy,
to
come get your best friend.
we get to the Lore Master's Tower.
I'm getting escorted off the game.
You get in.
boy.
Morax kind of sets the book down in the space that you decide, and I'll go ahead and move us into the tower space so you can kind of have a bit more of a means of visualizing that. The tower. So whichever you should be able to just drag and drop your miniatures on the map wherever you'd like, and once you get to that space and set the book down, you open the book. Is that right? Tisha?
Yes.
Okay. And Summer, did you stay along or you moseyed off, right? Okay, cool.
No,
So-
I went back.
Evangeline, you are here for the book opening? Okay. So the book is unlocked with the 3 keys, opened, and upon opening it, very first page, very ornately illuminated, which is a fancy word for painted, in kind of stylistic painting of what appears to be a door. In the center of the door, kind of written the title of this book, My Romance, by Lord Bjorkan.
Salacious.
The second page has no words on it. All it is a painting, similar to the one you saw on the wall, except that he is wearing nothing. And his clothes are off to the side.
God.
As you start flipping through the pages of this book, you start to realize that it is a very raunchy depiction of a romance between what appears to be an individual named Lord Bjorkan and Lady Noldos. Over
They had
and
a
over and
child.
over again, hundreds and hundreds of pages. And if you kind of take a second and go, wait a second, and kind of follow up on that thought, Ephraim Noldos is like 60. So it's probably not her child. It's probably something a bit more direct. And if you look in your historical notes in your library there in the lore, Ephraim Noldos is a merchant of some repute in the town, whose wife is Imistroth Noldos.
Oops. Evangeline's very uncomfortable right now.
Hopefully nobody...
Patriarch Evangeline,
I'm mildly
you can't look at
curious.
this.
I just want to make sure. Again,
Shield your eyes.
obviously we're in a weird territory here, and I just want to make sure if I'm ever pressing the line, again, remember, just say, hold on, this is a bit awkward, and just let me know, because I will...
I don't give a shit.
Okay. I'm going for something a bit more
Juicy.
juicy. Yeah,
Juicy
still
goth.
juicy. We're going for
Such-
a more sordid story with the town here.
that hot, juicy goss we all know and love.
So based on
Yes.
this book and the very few words that are actually written therein, it seems that Lord Noldos, according to the book, but you would know that, or sorry, not Lord Noldos, sorry, Lord Bjerkan, it is apparently a made-up kind of thing, possibly some sort of role-playing element that these two had in their writings, or rather their illuminations. The painting that is present in this book is very similar to the painting in the room, but you can definitely tell, Dahabe, that the hand is different. Someone else painted the painting in the bedroom, whereas someone else here painted the paintings therein. This appears to have been titled as being written by Lord Noldos, whereas the painting didn't appear to have any very immediately recognizable pen mark for the artist.
Maybe the lady.
Yeah. I mean, typically the pen marks are most easily found on the backs of canvases, but no one searched that in the house.
You're right.
I mean, it's not real far.
Yeah, if you want to head
Can
back
we
over.
send word, or we can send word for the guards to bring the painting?
Or you can just call Morax and say, hey,
I'm right there.
he's currently, like, yeah, sealing it down, putting boards on
Hi,
the...
Sheriff. Can you look on the back of that painting, please?
Yeah, give me just a moment. And you hear it's like, just like, all right, 1, 2, 3.
It is a lot heavier than you were expecting.
That's why I got help. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and
Oh, fuck.
your folks are kind of like, whoa, 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 and like it feels like it weighs a couple 100 pounds.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, once you set it down, there's kind of like a jangle to it, like it hitting the ground. And you kind of look to the back of it, and you can see that there's a name written on the back, and it says, in one kind of signature handwriting, a name, which it's kind of shorthand, very signature-y, but you're able to kind of make out a portion of it. It looks like someone signed a first name that began with I, and kind of looking at it, you guesstimate that it's the name we're talking about, Imistrov. It looks like an N name was kind of written in the middle, but it looks like it was crossed out, and then next to that was written in Elvish a name. And if you're able to kind of look at that and read Elvish, if not, there's a guard that's present with you who does, and so he can go, it says Bjorkan.
Says, Emiscrub, is it Bjorkan? Bjorkan.
And then in Elvish beneath that, if you have it translated, the guy says, I hold within this fantasy the wealth you need to be my lady. And the guard's like, oh, maybe that's why it weighs so much. Looks at it, and it definitely looks like there has been an effort to seal the back of the canvas, like stitch it closed.
There's money back there.
There's money in the banana stands. I say into the stone. You get that?
Bananas?
No, what the other
Yeah.
guard translated.
Yeah.
And so I take the painting and I'm just like,
Yeah, if you kind of slice open the bottom of the canvas and kind of like allow it to kind of dispense, a bunch of platinum and gold kind of drops out from the bottom in coin and also in kind of bar form. Looking at it, Morax, you're guesstimating there's somewhere around 50,000 like gold worth of shit just dispenses out onto the floor.
A lot of gold.
there's a lot of money in this thing. I say into the stone.
What's the safest place in town?
The prison.
prison.
Might have to keep this gold locked up until we can find who it belongs to.
I'll take care of that myself.
Lady Noldos.
The guards are
Evangeline is
Go ahead.
Evangeline's not too thrilled to hear that the safest place is the prison and not her house. Slightly disconcerting. Slightly disconcerting.
I mean,
She is what, 15?
Yeah, she's 16.
16?
She's just like,
Yeah.
wait.
I would think
She's gonna be like,
Opened
oh,
up
my
in
house.
romance.
I would think the mentality for and why the guards and Morax would probably think it's the prison. It's because like there's no one there.
Yeah.
There's no one to filch, and there's also a lot of kind of protection for anyone getting into it. Whereas the keep is a safe place, but the people that
There's
live
a lot of in and out.
yeah.
She'll get it eventually.
Alright.
She's sad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's just like, wait.
I'm gonna order I'm gonna get a couple of my guards to just help me bag all this up. I'm keeping a close. Not that I don't trust them, but just for professional sake, I keep a close eye on all of them. Make sure everybody's putting everything into bags.
I would assume you would have brought your own like personal crew, so these individuals who are present are quite loyal.
Yeah.
And they are not going to try and filch off the top. Again, no one in town is suffering for coin. Obviously, they're probably dreaming in their head, like, wow, what I could do with all of that money. I could fly away to Dayet, or like I could do some cool, like, trip to Penford, or I could get away from this barony and all the strange war stuff. But they're definitely not focused too terribly on that at current, because obviously the logistics of trying to take it would be insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll go with you, and you'll move across town with it. A lot of people are very curious as to what you have kind of bagged up over your shoulders heading across town. But nobody really stops to ask you as you make your way to your house and then down into your prison. And you dispense it as you please. I will put you on your space, and what I would like for you to do is inside of your prison area, just with your red marker, like your pen, just draw like an X in the space that you think you'd end up putting it.
Where is the trapdoor going down to the prison? Is right there in the center?
So no, that is a trapdoor that leads. Oh yeah, sorry. It's a stairwell that leads into the prison.
Ah, that. Okay.
The
Gotcha.
trap door there leads to a dungeon.
Gotcha.
And I mean in the traditional sense of a dungeon, not like a dungeon, like a donjon, like a obulette.
Okay.
Are you familiar
I
with
will-
that term?
Vaguely.
It's a pit you drop somebody in. It's like 50 feet deep. You like lower them down in there, and then you remove the rope.
Oh, that's a little bit inhumane.
It's only reserved for the most horrendous. That's why it's at the center.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes, I'm gonna put it back in that
Okay.
little space back there.
Sounds good.
Let's put it all in a box or something.
All right. And I'll move you back. And anybody have anything else that they wish to discuss?
So, I mean, I guess this is like discussion among the party, right? So,
Mhm.
Ephraim sold the deeds to Bjorken,
Correct.
and then Bjorken left it to the farmers. Ephraim / Bjorken left a fortune for his wife,
No, Bjorkan left, so yeah, Ephraim did
but
not.
they're the same person, right?
No.
He was having an affair with someone else's wife, and they pretended that he was his wife in their naughty, sexy times.
Okay.
Thank you for catching along. I believe you've read a number of stories, Meg, right?
I have a whole shelf of them.
So Bjorkan
Thank you for keeping it.
left the
Thought I wasn't
money
paying attention.
for
I knew you were.
Lady Noldos. Okay.
Uh-huh. So we do have a love triangle. If you want, possibly not love triangle, but we have a triangle. Yeah. Lord Noldos, an actual merchant lord of the town. He, from what you were able to pull up in your records, is a 60-year-old man who is a merchant in good standing with the Cobblers Guild. The plot, it thickens.
Mm-hmm.
He
Because
also had some side business regarding some farms, specifically farms that would yield leather. So those would be like dairy farms and like meat farms, beef farms, whatever those are called. Ranch? Ranch is the word I want.
ranch, yeah.
Perfect. Those properties were sold to Bjorkan, who is not a lord, just an elf.
Mm.
And ranch is one of the best dressings. I do agree. Correct. I do like the Roquefort, but most folks aren't fans of blue cheese. But whatever, they're like.
I love blue cheese.
Well, then you're cool.
Yeah.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Blue cheese is the best.
That said, and now it's canon.
An argument can be made for buttermilk ranch, though.
Okay. Yeah,
As long as it's the restaurant kind of buttermilk
Yeah.
ranch.
more than fair. Brett says it's now time to fight. We are now fighting with our audience. That said, God, where did I leave off? So sorry. So Ephraim Noldos, Merchant Lord Cobblers Guild, had properties, sold them to Bjorkan. Bjorkan purchased these properties with wealth from who knows what. We don't know why he's wealthy. He was able to have enough money in his endpoint to give all of it away serendipitously, like outside of kind of just bequeathing it directly to her by giving her the house. And how that would have been kind of explained is not sure, as that probably will come to pass. But main point is that's where we're at.
So I guess our question is who killed Bjorkan?
We don't even know. Well, yeah, we know he's dead.
Yes,
Murder
Mikal killed him a
mystery.
second time, right?
That's right.
But he was already dead.
You dispatched an apparition. You did not kill a person.
Yeah.
Very
We
different.
don't have a body, so there is no murder.
As all of this is ongoing, Dahabe like kind of has her own sort of tome where she's like scratching in like, beautiful elaborated script all of the juicy details of the goings on. And wait a minute. Shouldn't like the sheriff do something about this? Didn't like a murder happen?
There's no body.
Well, I mean, I think a ghost is a pretty good indication that someone has died, no?
I'm also not actually there.
Oh,
I
God
can't
damn it,
hear this.
Elizabeth.
I'm not there either. I'm not present
like nobody's
either.
there.
So, Morax,
Dahabe's just talking to herself.
if you want to take a second and cut the scene, so Morax, as you're kind of turning the house, were there any other questions you had about the space at all before you move the currency from place to place? Like anything that you would have been kind of looking for investigatorily to like kind of come to a conclusion?
Potentially anything that like I don't know, have people check under like rugs and whatnot, check the floorboards, make sure they're not
So
I don't know, telltale heart.
Yeah,
type
we,
thing.
we turned over the building as best we can and kind of afforded that kind of avenue. The main things that we need to focus on are what we have. And so what we need to do is discuss that. You have the ectoplasm residue of a ghost that you watched become terminated by Mikhail in the second floor. That is an indicator that there was a spirit here that had died. Obviously, you can't ask the ghost questions, it's gone now. However, what you can do is try and learn as much as you can about the undead as you can. Do you have a person in your group that is a religious expert that you think you should go to ask questions about the ghost, who might have firsthand
hey.
knowledge of having seen the thing in its efforts?
Hey, Summer.
Smart boy. He's a smart boy.
What do you know about ghosts?
I've seen a few. Why?
Few?
Have you not been outside the walls recently?
I've been real busy.
That's fair.
Can we look at some of this stuff the ghost dropped?
The ectoplasm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where should I meet you?
Let's meet over at either your place or mine, which is closer to the house. Which one is close? Where's Summer
I
at?
think I'm
temple?
Summer
over
is
at
just
the
south. Yeah,
temple.
she's right nearby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you drop off the
I
coin.
mean, it's about the same.
About the same, yeah.
You drop off
Well,
your
you're at the
coin.
Because
temple.
you're right here.
You make your way to the
Yeah.
temple. You meet her there.
Yeah.
To simplify it.
I pop over to the temple.
Okay.
Right.
Now, in that time, do you do some research regarding religious kind of inquiries regarding the undead? Because you know a bit about
Yeah.
what you saw. So go ahead and make a religion roll and
Okay.
assume that you have assistance from your staff.
Okay, character sheet. Stop being hateful. There we go.
So 12. You would know that it was a ghost. And when I say a ghost, I mean specifically a ghost.
A ghost of a person.
Well, this is very important because there's different types of incorporeal undead, and most times people lump all incorporeal undead under one kind of avenue of ghost. This is not a specter. This is not a shade. This is not a wraith. This is not a alep. This is not some other form of incorporeal undead. This is a ghost. Ghosts exist because the body they inhabited in life died tragically, and they had, just like the movie Ghost, business in life that they needed to complete, and that's
he
why
forgot to
their
sleep before he died.
spirits lingered. If quick note to that, if a body had a routine and was associated with one location, a ghost will become what is known as a haunting ghost and will bind itself to that space and sometimes perform deeds as if they were in life. So apparently, if you track it, he was probably a bit of a clean freak.
Should have hired him for the temple.
Might
Great.
freak out some of the patrons.
I mean, before.
There we go.
That still stands.
I mean,
I can't believe I just used the movie Ghost as a reference for a ghosty
Yeah.
love story.
yeah. It works though.
I've never actually
Um,
seen that movie.
Well, you should.
Yeah. Missing the best pottery scene of all time.
Oh, I've seen the pottery scene.
Literally all I've
Then
seen
he's
of that
seen
movie.
ghosts. No, I'm kidding.
That's awesome.
Um,
Whoopi's performance in that movie was insanely good.
So I get over to the temple and I'm like trying to I'm treating this like it's a normal crime scene. I've got just like I don't know, probably bottled up a little bit of the ectoplasm, and I've got that like great big cleaver. I'm like, I don't know, maybe we got some alchemist or something who could look at this stuff and we can like examine the handprint on this thing, try to figure out what's going on with it.
CSI.
I love that. That's
Summer's
great.
like, let me consult my crystals.
They said no.
They said no.
It's
You
just-
don't bring that in here.
Props.
Don't judge me.
Borderline LARPing.
I just have.
It's fine. It's
I
fine.
just have this.
It's fine.
I
No,
could
it's
have.
fine.
I could have gotten one of my anime figures.
Back to track. So he brings you the ectoplasm and the cleaver. Cleaver has a
Yes.
bloody handprint on it. What do you think you can do with that?
I can probably take a look and see how fresh it is, and also.
So you can make a medicine check to see
Yep.
how long it's been kind of present on the weapon.
Yep. That's what I'm
Oh, nice.
23.
Yeah. So 3 days.
So this was recent.
Yep. And based on the print, the person who had grabbed this weapon wasn't bleeding from their hand. They had blood on their hands.
Is it like a big hand or like a little hand?
Human sized.
Okay.
Some non-fur covered humanoid hand.
Mm-hmm.
So not a tabaxi, not a kennelborn. You can tell like it appears to be kind of a fleshy grip that's been present here. Not a lizard folk, not a triton.
Dragonborn.
It definitely kind of like
anything.
more, yeah, nothing like that. It'd be more like a human elf.
Mhm.
Not a smaller creature either, based on size. So not a halfling, not a
Yeah.
gnome. So we're looking at human, half elf, the like.
Mhm.
Okay, Shiro, you're being really bad, and I gotta beat you up now. So
Oh no, naughty.
Naughty baby.
Naughty baby. So based on that information,
uh-huh.
we know that it was fairly recent.
What do you have to do
We
with
should
it?
probably talk to the Noldos though.
I'm just gonna hold on to this way. Okay. So you
Do we
would
know where they're? Do we know where they're at?
yeah, you can definitely locate them. They are in town.
Oh, nice.
They're local people.
Yep. Hold on.
Does he have like a storefront?
No. He has a workshop. Okay. Okay. It is this building here. I'm pinging it. Trying to shift ping it, but my cat's being very difficult. As you can see.
Aw.
There
It's
it
a
goes.
baby.
Did it snap to it? Perfect. It's the building to the left of
Yes.
Iron Shoe Gate.
Okay.
Most people think that Iron Shoe is in relation to the stables, which are also called the Iron Shoe Stables. But the cobblers are also based on the same gate, so it's kind of a twofold name.
I like it. I like it.
Suppose
So
we can bring them in for some question then.
Well, I mean, his name was all over. I mean, the little flyers, they were made out to the Cobblers Guild, so maybe he knows something about that, because I don't know about the book yet.
Anything we can do with this slime stuff?
I mean, you could make stuff with it.
Like pop the cork, like I don't know
I
what
mean,
the
you
hell
don't
you'd
just
want to
drink
make.
it like that.
I don't know what the hell you'd want to make with that stuff.
So, a quick note on the building in question. So it is kind of two buildings kind of conjoined. There's the smaller building up front, which is like the office space and kind of like where the cobbler kind of takes in orders for repair and also kind of has items for sale on the front, so a storefront. And then the larger building is 3 stories tall, so it actually rises above the wall behind it a bit, and it is the residence of Noldos,
Yeah.
and it's a very, very fancy house. Most of the houses on this Iron Shoe side near the Vine Grand Hall are kind of nicer establishments, like the Ashdown Cottage, and all these buildings. This building, the biggest one here, kind of the back end, that is the home of the yet unnamed tieflings who run the marketplace.
Oh,
Nice.
I haven't named their house yet.
Well, we haven't talked to them yet.
Nope. I think the Ashdowns are into
Magpie.
alchemy, I think. Double check notes from Stephanie. Oh, okay. Wait, what?
Magpie's been having tiefling thoughts.
Okay. What is happening? Okay, my Discord got goofy. Checking notes. Bear with me here. Oh, sorry, not alchemy. They're into flowers, potpourri, and teas. Shiro, I am gonna fight you so bad. It's punishment time. It's just punishment time for you. There's only 30 more minutes, so this is just gonna be how you get to sit for 30 minutes. This is your life now. Okay.
Aww.
So he really wants to turn the printer on. Like, he really wants to do it.
He wants to print stuff.
I want to do printing. I want to do
he has
it.
copies to collate.
I have
He's
to.
He's an entrepreneur.
I have to make pictures. I have to send shipments. Look at my little
he has to
Send
print flyers
faxes.
Pete's.
for his
Pete's,
movements.
Pete's.
For the Cobblers Guild.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
Lord.
Nice try.
Little
Peter.
Lord
booties for the
Noldos.
little people.
Naldus, yeah. Oh, naughty boy. All right.
I'm gonna call oh man, who's looking at the book? Was it Evangeline and Dabe? Or looking at the book?
Yeah.
I call those two on our stones, and I say, have you two found anything in that book that might be usable evidence-wise?
Yeah, that's why I called you and said that it had to be investigated.
All right, so we got an idea of who would be good to bring in first, just to talk to. But that book's got to have something.
Here's the
And it-
facts. as
The
I
blood
see
is
them.
pretty fresh, like 3 days. Just kind of like leaning over.
Excuse
Mar-
me.
Like
Yeah,
leaning
for my
up.
Oh,
ear,
yeah,
and just
like-
The blood is pretty fresh. Straight up.
We know that Lady
Just
Noldos
so you know.
and Bearcan were having an affair, and now Bearcan's dead.
An affair? I didn't hear about this.
So Noldos would be a name you know kind of off the bat, Morax, because again, pretty popular in society. He is a cobbler. He's a member of the Cobblers Guild. So that kind of
And Mr. Noldos is still around, is he?
you assume
I
so, yeah.
believe the appropriate title is Lord. And
Lord Noldo.
as far as we can
Evangeline's
tell,
just like,
He's a merchant lord, different type of lord. There are multiple lords in this town besides.
okay.
This
okay,
is
Evangeline, you're not the
delicious.
only noble around. Okay. Anyway,
Landowner.
so we know that that's the book is evidence of that. Any expectations or hopes of this book being a powerful magical artifact are dashed. It is an erotic historial of their affair, essentially. We know that Bearcan left money to Lady Noldos. So,
Oh no.
look, I've read a couple of romance novels here and there, and we know that when money's involved, murder must follow. Isn't that right, Evangeline?
What?
She's just not nod your head. She's nodding her head. I know. I keep saying beer can and bear can. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Bjork.
Bjork. Oh, Bjork. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I kept doing it too. It's
bear
fine.
can and beer can. Bear can.
I just keep thinking of Nodder
I know. Me too. So,
drinking a beer.
Well, that at least explains why they booby trapped the book so badly or so much.
yeah.
Can't let that get out.
They didn't want us to see. They didn't want anybody to discover their tryst. But now that Bjorkan is dead, I wouldn't be surprised if either of the Noldoses were involved.
I'll go bring him in.
Well, you're the sheriff. I guess that's what sheriffs do.
That is why I get paid for. Yes.
Okay. Bye. Click.
So I'm gonna start making my way over to. I would know where they live, right?
The Noldos house, yeah.
I'm making my way towards there.
Making your way downtown.
We're gonna cut from you for a second. I just want to check back in with a couple people who went sideways. Mikhail, you headed back to the Grand Hall of Revelry. It's pretty slow today. Relatively quiet. You would note that it's the same day. It actually hasn't really progressed to the next day. So it's kind of the same people that were like there. So Rilke is still hanging around. And if your goal was finding a date, I mean,
Yeah, might as well. What the heck?
yeah, she's present and she says, "Oh, hello. You ran off so quickly, and we had our discussion regarding matters, but have you learned anything more about the event?"
Wait, before I go any further, not that it matters, but
Oh, okay.
I kind of remember that she was a gnome.
No, she's
Is
a
that true?
halfling.
Okay, Okay, I guess that was close. That's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with that if she wouldn't. So I guess I would ask her. I would say, yeah, go back to where we were. I would say, yes, lady, I was wondering if you would be available to be my date at the gathering. There's going to be a get together and a celebration, and somehow it got said that people would be expected to bring a date, and I thought you would be a great person to bring along, as that we've known each other for a long time, and
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Is she married? Because this is going to be very awkward.
Typically, that question should probably be your leading one. But she's not.
Okay. Yeah, that should have been my leading one. Especially after this whole tryst and people get killed stuff. I don't want to, be opening myself up for that.
You're like, he's standing right there. You're just like,
Yeah,
maybe
he
we
said,
could go
sorry,
together.
I'm bringing her on a date, and it's just we're not,
I mean, check
Yeah,
out this
Homewrecker!
check out this mustache and tell me.
home wrecker. Yeah,
I was gonna say something
Yeah.
terrible and I didn't, so that's good.
Oh, no.
It's
That's
good that
good.
I didn't say,
we
"Do you want a
blush.
mustache ride?"
Uh,
It would have
'cause
been bad.
I would never say that.
Horrors.
It's a great thing you didn't
Horrors.
say that.
Yeah, I
good
didn't
thing.
say it, even though I did say that.
I didn't hear a thing.
That's right. So Rilke says to you, what? Why did my computer just beep? So Rilke would say to you, I do respect the offer. I suppose that would be fine.
Excellent. Well, then I will swing by and pick you up.
I'm
And
apparently
what would it be,
having,
2 days or 3 days time, whatever it would be. I forget. I think it was
course.
3 days time.
and I genuinely appreciate you thinking of me. And I will make sure all of the finest glassware will be available for use. I have already put notice at my home to ensure that they are ready to give you what you need. And again, Green Bottle is right across the street from your house.
Right. It's perfect. It's on the way to town.
Yep. Again, her family doesn't typically stay in that building. They stay on like riverboats. They'll
That's right. Yeah.
like in the morning
Makes
we'll or in the evening we'll kind of leave town and then eventually come back, kind of sleeping on the water. Okay, so date set aside. Anything else that you want to kind of deal with besides that, or no?
No, I
Okay.
think we're just working on some labels around the winery, and
Okay.
so we're setting some of those up. We got a new, like, more fancy look now,
Okay,
and like
and
something like that.
you are definitely kind of a very business-centric individual, so you're not really too, I would assume, involved in the gossip and kind of like rigmarole of like town kind of society. However, you know Rilke is kind of connected to like people who kind of dally about, and you would know that there are a couple of other individuals who are in your vintners guild that also kind of have these dalliances with other merchant lords and other kind of associates therein. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that, possibly utilize that as a lead in the future if need be.
Aha. Okay. Yes.
I'm going to cut from you back to Casey. Just make sure if there's anything that Casey's doing immediately after the events at the house. Of course, a lot of people have done a lot of things. I just want to make sure if there's any room for anything that you wanted to be doing.
I imagine the only thing they would do is they might pull some records about who's currently in charge of the Cobblers Guild.
No,
but
those.
I doubt. Yeah, that's the no. It's nothing that we haven't all learned as a group.
Yeah, and actually, you would notice too is these seem to have been secondhand marked, which means that the guild lord or guild master has basically marked them for specific members. And from what you can tell, looking at your records and kind of going through, you would note that these individuals are known as below knives, which are basically individuals who deal with kind of the undercutting of the kind of undersole of the shoe in cobblery. But you would also know from your records that this group of below knives are only about 10 strong in the town. And so you could very quickly pull the names of those individuals.
They would do so, I assume, and would probably write up a report to send to both the tower, the keep, and the captain's.
Hold on.
quarters.
I am experiencing some strangenesses with my keyboard here.
It's a ghost.
Is it a ghost?
It is not.
Exorcism.
Is it Shiro?
That is so weird. It's like I'm holding down a button, but I'm not.
Oh, you got a sticky one?
Ooh.
That happened with my alt key and I had to pry it off.
Did you try turning it off and turning it back on again?
Oh no. Oh,
Just
no.
flexing his
Just
IT
shut down the
muscles.
whole stream.
Oh shit.
Don't cry. Don't you cry on my stream.
It's okay to cry.
Anywho,
It's
what was I saying? There was something I was saying, and I was trying to look up the names. It's a shift key.
Oh.
Ooh,
They're
everything's
sticky.
moving around.
Yeah, the map is slippity sliding.
Ooh, nice.
Oh,
I'm annoyed.
yeah. I'm so sorry. You're talking about
Ketamine city.
rumors and
Sure. So,
not knowing about the rumors and stuff.
the
Sorry, Kyle.
names in question, and
Or wait, yeah.
once I have control
Moved
of my
on.
computer, I will get you these names more precisely. But the surnames are not terribly important. I can make them up if you need. But there's Bradicus, Chaticus,
No,
Dontavius,
Kevin.
Braxus, Kelvin, Hallis, you got 6, right?
6 right now.
Good. Okay, cool. Gunther,
He's the most sus.
Garrett,
No, Garrett wins.
Yeah.
Unless there's a Kyle.
Fucking
Roderick.
Kyle's, man.
Rodothan.
It's Rodathan.
It's
Rodathan.
Guilty.
Rodathan sounds like a Brent paladin.
Yeah. Just a Brent character.
Yeah.
Oh no, paladin.
Oh, he's taking notes on the R names for sure.
yeah.
I think he was in the chat earlier, but he's probably out now. But anywho,
Yeah.
those are the names of the 10 individuals who are members of the Cobblers Guild who are below knives, which again is the specification for cobblers who deal with the undersole of the shoe. They're cutters on the undersole of the shoe.
Should have picked up that boot.
That's why there were boots. No.
They're either known as knives
Potato
below
boots.
or bellow knives, or I believe gut workers in the shoe biz. So you have kind of like a loose understanding of these things in your guild work. You obviously wouldn't know exactly what they do. You just have like, these are what they are listed as by the guild. Some guilds call like their lower workers like apprentices. Some of them actually type them out just what they do, etc.
Right. That makes sense. Like I said, they would just like write up a report to try and send to the guard and the keep in the tower.
Regarding those 10 individuals?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to write that note up, or do you want me to just hand...
I don't know how to spell most of the names.
Honestly,
Sound it out.
whatever you wrote down would be canon.
Okay.
But if you don't want to write it out,
I can. I will. We
Okay.
have 9 minutes left, and I think we should move on.
that's perfectly fine.
Radicals.
Okay, so then Mikhail, Casey, Morax is currently engaged with Summer, and you guys are regrouping to Evangeline and Dabe to kind of... Or no, you were heading to the Noldo's house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make it there. And?
I think all of the names got scooched.
They did.
They did.
What happened?
A
All the
lot of
names
the
of the
labels got
houses
the bottom
scooched
layer
around.
got moved, I
No
think. Or the
stinker.
top layer. Some layer got
The
moved.
map's just not aligned.
Silly
Yeah,
girl.
so the names
anymore.
are off.
I'm so sorry.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
It's okay. The
We know what we're
Ketamine
doing.
was kicking in.
It's an easy fix with a keyboard.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ah,
It just needs to be shifted up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
realigned. That's it. It's
So.
fine.
I'm glad I didn't have any secrets underneath it.
Yeah, that is good.
Layers are important.
Monkey.
Okay. So you arrive at the Noldo's office. You enter inside. There is a young man, possibly in his like late teens, behind a desk, desk. It looks like he is currently working in detail on a shoe. Again, I don't know how cobbler work works, so he's doing it,
The
and it
elves do
looks
it.
right. It's not a keebler; it's a cobbler. Morax and Summer, you enter into the space. He kind of looks up from his work and says, "Yes, hi. Can I help you with something? Did you have a ticket?"
No, we're here on official business.
Okay. How can I
Is
assist?
Lady Noldos available?
Lady Noldos is not currently available. No. She is currently at the Lord's vacation estate
Oh,
with
suspicious.
Lord Noldos.
Convenient.
You happen to know when they might return?
I don't believe they're expected back until the end of the month. It'll be in about 7 days.
Oh, they're gonna miss the party.
They wouldn't have been aware of it. So
That's true. But they're still gonna miss it.
their fault. Yeah.
Yeah. News you lose.
Well, there's been a situation discovered in town,
Okay.
and how close are you with the Noldos?
I'm their oldest child.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What's your name, son?
Um, Belgith?
Belgit?
Belgith?
Belkith.
Belgeth.
Check his ears. Are they pointy?
Does he
Oh.
look like an elf?
Oh God.
No, he does not have elvish characteristics.
Just check it. I know things.
You think we could ask you a few questions while they're away?
You asked several already. I haven't stopped you so far. Yeah, feel free. Sorry, this is just a little awkward. I don't know what's happening here.
I understand, son. You're not in trouble at all.
Okay.
There were some flyers. I'm just gonna cut to the chase here.
Yeah.
There were some flyers on the floor in Bjorkan's place, and that just seems off, you know?
I
Do you know anything about
Bjorkan?
behind the mayor's office?
I'm just not familiar with the name. I'm sorry.
It's fine. He didn't get out much.
Okay. Why?
But we just that's what we wanted to talk about if you
Well,
knew anything.
I don't know why flyers would be on someone who doesn't get out much as floor. You don't.
Give reason.
Exactly. That's why we're confused. And they were from the Cobblers Guild. So we
You-
just
You don't think he understands what's happening here, mainly because
Yeah.
you haven't explained to him that the importance.
we're
of
not
the
gonna just
Oh.
tell this kid that his mother cheated on his
Well, no.
father.
cobbler's flyers on the floor in a person's house. It's not like, a crime. Nobody knows
Right.
Bjorkan's dead.
There's nobody else in the office, right?
Yeah, just you three.
Okay.
Is it too meta to ask a question?
No.
Okay. I want to know when they left town.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, ask
I,
it.
I get a zap in my head and think to myself, when did your parents leave town?
About 3 days ago.
Suspicious.
And that's where we'll end the session for tonight. Thanks for watching
fuck.
those that did. We'll pick up next session. That's a hell of a stinger. I'm gonna leave it there.
Oh fuck!
We'll pick up mid-interrogation of
I need to get better at my interrogation.
you were doing great. It was a very sound question though. Very well done. Thanks for watching those that did. We'll pick up next session. Thank you.